I'm paying attention.
You're live, man. I did it. I said the hand is up, and then I pointed.
The second the hand went up, Watts said she's paying attention. Watts is playing.
I'm not.
I know.
She's crafting stuff. It's not really playing.
I'm not crafting. You can't.
Hello and welcome to the 128th episode of DCP, the edition where we still can't get this intro right.
I wonder why.
You specifically.
Welcome to the D2 podcast.
Which D2?
Which
Division 2, Destiny 2,
Diablo 2,
all the D2.
the OG D2. You know,
that's right. New update on Diablo 2. They've added 1280 by 720 support.
Actually, this is not related to Diablo or D, but there's a new monster in Monster Hunter World.
Is there?
Oh, did that come out?
Yeah, so I might hop in and check out some Monster Hunter World.
I'm more interested in what the other thing you are playing.
I'm not playing anything.
About.
Like literally right now. It's like literally right now.
No.
Something about ninjas.
All right, let's get this podcast on some sort of forward momentum.
Yes.
Hello, Schvifty. How are you?
I'm good. How's it going?
Oh, we're doing pretty good here. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Again, we've had. When was the last time we had you on?
It's been a while.
A couple years ago.
Yeah, it was like during Rise of Iron, I think.
It's been a long time. Yeah,
a long time ago. We actually talked about Destiny that time, I do believe.
Yeah.
Are you playing any Destiny now, or are you just Division 2 all day, every day?
I haven't played Destiny in a bit. I played it a couple months ago, tried to get myself up to 600, and now, of course, it's, what is it, 700? I don't even know the cap now. It's like, I can't even keep up anymore because I've been grinding so much in Division, so.
That's fair.
But
were you a big Division 1 fan as well?
Yes, hardcore. Loved it.
Did you play it right from the get-go, or did you join somewhere along the way?
No, closed beta. That was my jam.
Nice.
All the way from the very beginning.
That's awesome.
I know that you were one of the few people that like stuck with Division even through the time where people were like, "Oh, there's nothing really to do anymore." I always saw you playing Division, so it must be awesome to go from playing a game that was, it had some problems, and they figured a lot of those problems out. But then in D2, it just launched with like all of that stuff fixed, and it's really nice to see a looter shooter like really learn from.
Mm-hmm.
They really have.
Game.
They really have. They fixed a lot of stuff. There's still like a couple of bugs in the game, but I think with like how much content there is and how like tight the gunplay is and everything, I think people are pretty forgiving with a couple of.
I've been trying to figure that out, Schvifty. What is it about the Division 2 gunplay that makes it feel so much better than Division 1? Can you lock it down? Do you know what it is?
Tell us. We're confused.
I don't know. I mean, I think, okay, so one thing that I just found out, which I thought was really cool, that they added into the game was they actually recorded every single gun with an audio engineer. Every single gun they shot and recorded the exact sound that it makes. So like when you go in and you play with every different weapon, you can really feel it.
They all feel different.
It feels different. It sounds different. The handling feels different.
And
they balanced a lot of the stuff out.
Yeah, that's awesome. Like every time I pick up a different gun, I've noticed that, picked up on it. There's like just these nuances that come through in the gunfights. And you can also tell when other people are using different guns too. I can hear it's not just, and that's the thing too. They made it so it's not just straight up lightweight M4 and LBOAC all the time like it was in Division 1. It's what everybody used. It's just the best gun. And now they've nerfed those and made those into just single fire rifles, just regular rifles. Because that's what they are IRL. So they're not supposed to be auto weapons. So, which is nice because now you'll go into the DZ and I got wrecked by a guy using a pistol one time and then another guy using an LMG. It's like it's really cool to actually, and you can also inspect those people now too. So it's cool to like, one, see all these different weapons. Two, be able to see what people are using, which was a new aspect. We weren't able to see that in Division 1. Wow. I had no idea that they like that. Yeah. That wasn't something in Division 1. Huh.
Yeah, it was really hard. It was really hard playing like legendary missions with people in Division 1 because you had to just straight up ask them, what are you running? Like, I need to know what you're running because if you aren't running this, then it's going to be really difficult. And we need like a reclaimer set now. We need, like you need to be running this. So now you can just inspect and see what people are doing.
Nice.
So
yeah, that's really helpful.
Yeah.
One thing. So I think for listeners who are new, also for you, like because you started with Destiny, I think it would be nice to have just like a quick synopsis of how you got into Destiny, and then obviously we can transition to Division 2 even more so. But I think it's good that some of the new listeners know that.
Oh yeah, so I started playing Destiny. Gosh, it was the first real shooter that I picked up. Like after taking, like you start gaming as a kid, and then you kind of leave it when you go to school, and then you're like, you kind of pick it up again. I don't know. I didn't really have like a continuous gaming experience, as I got older. So once I started picking up games again, I picked up Killzone, and then I know, and just PvP, straight up PvP. I know the PvP was
good. Yeah,
it's a good game. And then
which Killzone?
I think Mercenary.
Okay,
no, Mercenary is the one for PS Vita. Was it? I can't remember which one it was.
Was it for PS4?
It was on PS3.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So I don't know. I don't remember which one it was. I'd have to look it up. But then I don't know. Maybe like a month after that, I saw that this game was coming out, and the guy at GameStop, because I was all like getting back into games and stuff, and he was like, "You should really check out this game, Destiny." And I was like, "Oh, really? What do you think about it?" And he was like, "Oh, it's coming out. It looks really great," and blah blah blah. And I was like, "All right, cool. Well, I'm gonna go do a nerdy midnight release." And so I did it, and then I never stopped playing it. Like, did my first midnight release ever. I went home and I just I stood in line like a dork, and it was. I went home and started playing the game, and I just couldn't put it down. And then it was the first game I started streaming, and I started streaming probably, 8 months after Destiny came out, right in the content drought. Like,
nice.
Nobody was streaming. Of course, Goth and Broman were still streaming it, but it wasn't like super saturated. So I kind of got discovered, I guess.
You also didn't start streaming like by using a PC either.
Started streaming on PS4, yeah. For like a year and a half, I streamed on PS4, which has its ups and downs, but it was good to start off that way anyway.
Yeah. Nice. Do you think that like that had any weight on like early growth?
Oh yeah, very much so. Mainly because the way the PS4 works is for discoverability anyway is when you're streaming on PS4, the PS4 drone, like PlayStation Live has its own directory. So I very often would be the top person on the PlayStation Live. So I'd show up on like everybody's PlayStation when they turned it on, which is really cool.
Interesting. Does it still do that right now? Does it prefer?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you have PlayStation Live installed, yeah. If you tab over to PlayStation Live, usually like that's the first thing that'll show up as the top person. Now, though, there are a lot of really popular YouTube streamers and unfortunately a lot of U-botters on there. So they've sort of pushed the PlayStation Twitch streamers down. But yeah, it was really good for me at the time. So I don't think I go back, but
right, obviously.
It was great. It was great early on, like for growth as a budding broadcaster. So.
Like now, like trying to keep an audience like that. The streaming from a PlayStation is very bare bones. It's like
oh yeah, like music over the microphone, like that kind of thing. And then like just like my alerts, I had a laptop with my alerts, just like the alerts up on my screen. So like when they pop up, I just have to call them out. But yeah, it was very rudimentary, but I mean it worked. It worked for a while. So I was well in a partnership when I finally switched over to PC streaming.
That's awesome.
Actually, when I moved to Tampa.
Like I think a lot of people sometimes focus on the flashiness of things that can be on a stream when it's like the core community you create is the thing. Absolutely. And
it was all based around Destiny for me. Like I think I streamed Destiny for like a really long time.
When did you transition away from Destiny like full time? Was it for Division 1?
I think that was the first major game. Like I played some Fallout 4 a bit, and then when Division came out, I was just really excited to play it because I love Tom Clancy games. Like I really love Splinter Cell. That like the whole series was really fun. And I thought that I would really dig it. And so I asked to get in the closed beta, and Holt and I remember played in the DZ against each other and stuff, like dropped group on me at the very end and murdered me. But it was Why did I switch over? I don't know. Just curiosity. I just wanted to play another looter shooter, something that I thought would be different and a bit less sci-fi. I love sci-fi, stuff, and so. But I just wanted to try something a bit more realistic.
Do you think the third person versus first person, was like part of that?
It's interesting because I didn't think that third person had anything to do with what kind of games I liked, and then after I played like Fallout, I noticed that I played Fallout, and I played a bit of Fortnite and PvE though. I played Fortnite Save the World. And those sorts of third person games and PUBG and stuff like that, I noticed over time, especially with Division and stuff, that third person is kind of what I prefer actually over first person.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think they'll ever add anything to Save the World, or you think that's just dead at this point?
It sucks because like Save the World is so fun. It's just that it was supposed to be free. Like Save the World was supposed to be free. I think at the end of 2018, and they keep pushing it back, and I don't know why. They have so much money from the BR. It's like, why don't they just release it?
It seems like they just don't even care at this point. They've gotten so many users because of the BR that they're like, well, I guess we're now not going to focus on that anymore.
I don't follow it super close, but I did enjoy Save the World. Like I thought it was a lot of fun to play with friends.
Great.
And
I thought it was fun
to build up to build a base up and then have the zombies come and attack it. It was a cool gameplay loop, and it got dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Straight horde mode like all the time, but it was great. I had a really good time in that game, and it was, I don't know, I miss it. I wish I could play it. I wish I could stream it, but it's just unfortunately just not something that works with my channel. So
yeah,
sucks.
Yeah. Also because like if you go into the Fortnite directory and you're not playing BR, like you probably get a bunch of people
would
going
just come
and
to
be
the
like,
stream.
"What the hell?"
I did it one time.
Maybe it's a good thing.
I did it one time, and
game?
somebody was like, and people came in, they're like, "Lol, save the world, lol. What are you even doing? Why are you even trying?" And I was like,
I'm having fun.
I know. You're having fun wrong. What are you doing?
I'm constantly having fun wrong. People tell me all the time, you are having fun incorrectly.
I kind of want to go play Save the World now. I never got to play it.
Dude, it was a lot of fun.
Just the idea of triggering
Save the World stream.
Yeah, the idea of triggering people.
You should stream it.
Yeah, I kind of want to do
There's
that
actually a tag, which is really helpful because of all the BRs. You can actually tag the mode Save the World or mode.
Oh, I
BR.
wouldn't do that. No.
It's really useful for discoverability.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So Division 2. I think Holtz and Watts, you guys haven't played it yet, right?
I actually purchased it last weekend.
Oh, okay.
Because I didn't want to get super into it, get super addicted, and then have to balance finishing Sekiro before going to Japan, and like that would just be a mess. So I wanted to just kind of, I know it's a good game, and I wanted to try it because I love looter shooters and I love getting loot. No matter what game it is, there's loot, I get really excited. So I downloaded it and I've played for a few hours.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Now. So I'm kind of just like, getting into it a little bit, and then when I come back, I can actually jump into it properly.
Yeah.
But it's good. Like for a third person shooter as well.
Yeah.
They do really well with their guns because a lot of third person shooters, they have this kind of disconnection between you and your gun.
Mm-hmm.
So it kind of feels like, I don't know, like you're not really holding it, but they do really well with that. I think Division's always had shooting that feels pretty good, but in Division 2 it feels even better.
So Liz, I want to know, coming from somebody who played a lot of 1.8 and having having like the full knowledge of how 1.8 felt to Division 2 as it is right now, what's your review as like a hardcore 1.8 Division player and how the state is with it?
What do you mean, the state of Division 2 as compared to 1.8?
Yeah, I guess like the evolution of it, like you know what I mean? Because I would
like the full game.
I would consider myself more on the outside because I played Division 1, dropped it, played a little bit of survival, played some 1.8, but now I've played Division 2 since it came out. I've been loving it, but like I'm curious from somebody with your perspective, does it transfer?
What, the knowledge from 1.8 transfer? Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, definitely if you play Division 1, your knowledge will transfer over for Division 2 for sure. But I think the thing that people are going to find as a rude awakening is that you're going to get wrecked the whole way through the game. the whole way through. Like it's not like Division 1 where you get to a point where you can like build this super OP nomad build where you can like stay alive all the time and have an overheal and use all your healing skills to keep you alive all the time. It's like you can use that healing skill, you can use another healing skill, which I do in Division 2, but it's not going to keep you alive and just make you impenetrable, basically. Like you're gonna get your armor knocked off, you're gonna get wrecked, you have to hide. It's a cover-based shooter again.
Mm-hmm.
There's no more running around and running and gunning like there is in Division 1. In Division 1, you can just run and shoot whenever you want. In Division 2, if you don't hide, you die. So that's a very big change. And the time to kill everybody was talking about is a big change. That applies when you get into the higher levels more to PvP than it does to PvE. In PvE, and which it should be said as a side note, PvE and PvP balancing are completely separate.
It's really
which
good.
is really cool.
Yeah.
And so in PvP with time to kill, when you're shooting another player, it's really fast. In PvE, once you get into the higher tiers, it gets harder and harder and harder, and there's bullet sponges again. And it's not something that I'm super excited about, the bullet sponges, but
that's what I've noticed.
Yeah.
Like checkpoint level 3s, you get a bunch of yellow guys coming out, and like they're taking multiple LMG magazines to
try a 4.
Yeah.
It took me like an hour to get through a 4.
Mm-hmm. Checkpoint level 4? Holy crap.
It took like an hour. It was absolutely ridiculous.
I haven't attempted one of those yet because I hear that like the benefit isn't quite there for the rewards. Like tier 3,
it's not.
You get the blueprint.
Really
yeah.
You get a blueprint, and I think for tier 4 you get a blueprint and a skill point, which is like
a skill point.
Really,
interesting.
that's it.
Well,
but I mean, it's just.
I mean, if you need the skill points, if you want to like.
Yeah, but to do a tier 4 takes an hour for one skill point. I feel like that's
a
pretty
little
meager. You know.
Yeah.
It's a long time.
Pretty meager.
So in terms of the world from Division 1 to Division 2, like how has that been a transition for you?
The world, what do you mean? Well, there's no snow,
events,
but it's still Christmas.
Activities, right? No, it's snow and Christmas. Visually, obviously different, but like size,
the activities,
how it paces, you know.
I mean, the game overall is just so much. It's a full release of a game, and it feels great. Like it's the game. I mean, the game just keeps going when you start from level 1 all the way up to world tier 4. Like it's not like even though you're doing the same missions over and over again, it doesn't feel like it at all. It feels like new stuff all the time. It feels like you're grinding new places, even though you're still doing the same stuff. And I feel like it's something magical that not a lot of games do well, which is to renew something that is old. And most of the time we're like, oh, reskin content sucks. Like this is actually done really well, and I think they've handled it, I don't know, super well. I like it a lot.
Agreed. That transition once you beat, like, is it the first stronghold that brings you into World Tier 1?
Yeah.
And then it opens up everything, and the Black Tusk move in, and you're like,
oh my God.
Yeah.
Now my entire map is red, and you're like, what do I do now? And they're like, everything's invaded, and you have no more settlement, and now you have to go defend it. It's like, now you have to do it all over again.
Spoilers, by the way, for anybody who hasn't done it yet.
It's hard, okay?
But awesome.
But that's the great thing about it. It's really that the game is difficult, and that's something that I think Division 1 players are going to find to be, I don't know, surprising. Is that the game is not easy. And
I think that's what makes it fun, though, because in Division 1, I just felt like I'd like stand there, shoot something for a couple of clips, and never really felt like in that danger. It just got boring, right? Because without that sense of urgency and danger, then like, you're just standing there firing a gun. But now it's, if things get out of hand at all, like if a flank starts happening and you don't recognize it,
you get pinched both sides. They'll come around, they'll double flank you, you're screwed.
Dude, if you're just walking the street and you suddenly roll up like an elite convoy and there's like 4 of them right there.
Like you're reading chat while you're rolling down the street.
You're like, oh, hey guys, and they're like, you're dead.
Yeah.
They're gonna mow you down. Yeah. And that's with, a crap load of armor.
They're smart mobs. They're very, all the mobs in Division 2 seem to me like they have the same mentality as like the LMB in Division 1. Where they'll dodge roll. They have, like some of them have skills. They'll flank you. I mean, except just more intense. So.
Yeah.
Cool.
But like the checkpoint system, this is something that's really cool that I would love other games like Destiny to potentially take on something like this, where these checkpoints get overtaken by the enemies, by the faction, whatever that's there. And then you can go do these like miniature public events to upgrade the checkpoint into like what we were saying, tier 3 and tier 4. I think that is a brilliant system for an open world type area, because like that gets switched back over. You want to upgrade it, you get better rewards by increasing the tier, and it becomes harder. Like I love that. I want more games to adopt that type of thing. I think that's so cool.
Yeah. It's very interesting. It's cool because you kind of choose your own adventure at that point. You know, you kind of decide like, what reward do I want to go for? What am I in the mood to deal with at this point in time? And do I even want to go for a blueprint right now? Maybe I just want to take over the checkpoint and give somebody some supplies to get a bounty done or get some, get a project done.
So the game feels like I can jump in for 15 minutes or I can play for like 4 hours straight. Like
legit,
it's got something for me to do no matter what.
Yeah, like I was talking to Professor Broman today, and he was like, "I've been streaming for 7 hours. It feels like we just started playing the game." I'm like, "It's because it's really fun." So I feel the same way. I could stream this game forever, and I just lose my time in it. So I love it.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Those are the best.
So when you jump in right now, because it is the max you can get right now is World Tier 4, and World Tier 5 is coming. That's been confirmed, right?
Yeah,
and a raid is coming.
World Tier 5 will come.
Along with a raid, that's going to be 8 players and all that. As it is right now, what is your goals when you like log in and play right now?
When I play right now, I think mostly my goals are just playing around with what builds work well for me at the moment. I'm just going around trying to like piece together different gear sets, because at this point in time, 3-piece gear sets are what they have. They don't have 6-piece like they had in Division 1, the classified gear sets. So I don't know if they're going to add classified gear sets back in. I think that they said classified gear sets will be in, but I'm not sure. So at this moment in time, I can't remember. I feel like I saw a green, a light, like a teal classified thing on the state of the game one time, but I can't remember, and I don't want to misinform people. But as it stands right now, my goals are to find gear sets that are OP. Build them and get ready for the grind for World Tier 5. So I know exactly what sets I want to find, what sets I want to grind for in World Tier 5.
So correct me if I'm wrong. Right now, you wouldn't actually be able to bring anything forward into World Tier 5 with recalibration, correct?
Right.
Yeah. So there's no like actual infusion system right now. So I'm in a place, I've really been enjoying it, been loving it. I'm getting so much loot that I have too much. And when I have to do inventory management, I'm like, I don't want to
every day
go through 150 items on stream right now, and I don't.
I made a second character already.
See, maybe I should do that, because like I don't want to delete things because I want to save the gear, but at the same time I know World Tier 5's coming, so maybe some of it just doesn't matter.
The thing is, I think playing with the gear sets right now and literally just knowing, I'm treating World Tier 4 kind of like the beta of World Tier 5. It's like, I know that I'm getting ready to delete all this stuff. I'm just using it to test it out to see what I like now. And then once World Tier 5 comes out, then I'll know, and I'll have my ideas already in my head.
Okay.
So.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not taking my gear too seriously at this point. I'm trying to keep some stuff because of rerolls and things like that. You have to have other gear pieces that have the different stats on them that you want to recalibrate with. So do you know about the recalibration system? Have you used it?
Yes. You should explain it though, so people who don't know exactly what you're talking about.
Recalibration in Division 1, you could recalibrate an item and get a random list of different talents that you could then put on that piece of gear. This time, you don't get to do that. You have to have the talent on a piece of gear that you already have, and then transfer that talent onto the piece that you want to upgrade. And that sucks because you are just hoarding all the time because you don't want to delete anything because you don't know what talents you want to use. So I find myself actually theory crafting a lot more because I have to theory craft in order to decide what to delete.
Yeah.
So
that's cool though. I like that.
It is, but at the same time, like last night I ended and I had just about 100 pieces in my inventory and 150 in my stash that I need to like go through. I need to just prioritize things like, okay, if it's like just health stats, delete it. We don't need health. Don't need health on kill. Get rid of that crap. But then there might be a talent that I want to like use to swap over. And I'm like, it's driving me crazy.
Sucks. It's a lot of hoarding.
Yeah.
Once you hone in on the like once you get yourself a little bit more familiar with all the talents that are out there, though, it'll be easier. It'll be easier to decide like what pieces to keep, what pieces to trash. So it's just I think with the overwhelming amount of information that we have right now, it's difficult to get rid of stuff because you just don't know what you want. So
the game's only been out for what, 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's just
roughly.
It's just a lot. It's a lot of information to process.
It is.
So.
Having a mastery of that entire system is probably want to save on a whole lot of stuff.
What do you think?
What's that website for Destiny gear that shows you like if it's got popular perks on it or not? When you want
to Destiny Item Manager has that built in.
That's true. Dim does do that.
What do you think of the specializations? Because that's obviously very different from Division 1, right?
I have only used a grenade launcher. I don't actually use it that much. You know, I use it occasionally and only on bosses, for the most part, or if we're getting overwhelmed, like in a world tier or in a tier 4 control point or something like that. I really want to try out the 50 cal. I haven't tried that out yet, and I think that I've actually seen people one-shot bosses with the 50 cal, and I think that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, when it's maxed out,
sounds pretty good.
When it's maxed out,
I've also heard, when it's maxed out. I've also heard stories that there's a hunter, I think called Shadow, that you have to have your sniper specialization completely maxed out in order to kill him, because if you don't kill him in one shot, he disappears.
Oh wow!
So
interesting.
So
the only thing
to get that leveled up
that I don't like about the TAC 50 is that like you have to ADS for like 3 seconds before it becomes accurate, which is super annoying. Like for me, if I zoom in, I'm like, okay, I'm going to shoot this guy. And then the bullet just disappears. I'm like, what? And it's because this thing is like, there we go. Now it can shoot the bullet. That's a little frustrating.
Oh, that sucks.
But
and that's another thing is I hate scopes. I just refuse to use scopes. I use the little T reticle on my Model 700, and that's it. I've never used scopes.
Yeah, it's pretty much what I did on the campaign going through, because I'm the same way. It just feels weird. Coming from Destiny, scoping in feels natural. But when you, in Division, I think it's because the ADS speed on third-person mode and scope speed is attached. And so you can't like adjust those separately.
Yeah.
Which I wish that they would put that in Division. Because that kind of kills a lot of the potential of the scopes. And it gives you like extra damage for headshots. I'm like, I want that, but I don't want to actually use the scope.
Yeah, same.
Yeah.
Same.
You're also going from an over the shoulder perspective to like down the scope perspective, which is more jarring than from first person to through the scope.
Yeah, it's pretty wonky to go between the two. I don't like it.
I don't think there's ever been a good third person system where it goes from third person to like ADS scoped.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like Fortnite did it well.
Yeah, actually, Fortnite does feel pretty good with that.
And PUBG does it?
Honestly, it's because Massive didn't make it so like the speed slows down. It feels like it's the same. Also, when you use the TAC 50 specialization, it's quicker than like the 12x scope. And I think because it's a 15x scope. And again, it zooms in, but they don't slow down the speed of your movement.
Mm-hmm.
Like your mouse movement speed? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, it's not tuned properly for that. So you can go in, you can lower your ADS speed, but then it affects the speed of when you're in third person ADSing.
So in PUBG, for instance, they have separate ADS like sliders in the settings menu.
Yeah.
So you can change, here's my ADS speed and it's set to a 3, but when I'm zoomed down a 15x scope, it's a 2. And when I'm aimed down 8x scope, it's a 1. Yeah.
That's what they need. They need that in Division to make those scopes feel good. Because right now it's like, ugh, what is going on?
Yeah. It's not great.
Yeah. So any speculation on World Tier 5?
I don't know if I'm allowed to speculate, honestly.
You know everything? You could just spill the beans.
You're a developer. You're obviously a developer, right? Yeah.
No, but part of the secret society.
I'll speculate. I will speculate so hard on World Tier 5.
Why don't you speculate? Well, you go for it, Pat. You go.
Can I know what World Tier 4 is in context of the division before?
Oh, World Tier. So there's 5 World Tiers. The top World Tier is World Tier 5. That's the last World Tier before you get to do the raid.
Okay. So World Tier 5 is exactly like World Tier 4.
But harder.
No. I mean, yes, it will be hard. But instead of fighting humans now, they've like for World Tier 5 alone, they took Tom Clancy out of the title of the division.
Yeah.
And so they just go fucking crazy with it. Like you get aliens coming in there, like
the Avengers show up.
Battle tech that like
Tom Clancy shows up as a zombie.
Yeah, like all the crazy Call of Duty guns and guns from like all FPSs become usable, but it's only in World Tier 5.
Can Master Chief show up?
Only World Tier 5.
Yeah, like it's basically Ready Player One.
Yo, that sounds amazing.
But
that
sounds
really
good.
Cool.
But just in that.
I like it.
It's like Kingdom Hearts, but like hardcore.
Can we no zippers though? Too many zippers in Kingdom Hearts. Yeah.
Look, that's just anime thing in general. Yeah. Okay, just anime.
Real quick, I usually save all the Twitter questions till the end of the show, but I wanted to read one at the beginning of the show because I think it'll be relevant throughout the rest of the show.
Okay.
It's from David Cotton. And he says, I listen to the podcast while running, and I'm running in the LA Marathon this Sunday, and I need some motivation and encouragements / threats to get me through it. Hit me with your best and worst. So if you think of anything during the podcast to keep him going, David Cotton says, just throw him some words of encouragement throughout the podcast to make sure he gets through this LA Marathon unscathed.
Go, David, go.
Yeah, mad bitches. If you're mad, I'm sorry.
Drink your water.
David, I want you to look at that horizon.
What if you win?
David, look at that horizon.
You can win a marathon.
It's so far away, David.
Don't look behind you, but there's a horde of zombies.
Briar's over here like, that horizon's far away. You see before you hit that horizon, there's a bar.
Yeah, this is a nice bar down the street. Get a drink.
Just dip in there real quick.
You know, to make this marathon go a lot faster? A couple of beers.
Taxi.
A couple of cold ones.
Run faster. There you go.
Liz, do you have a team set up for the raid? 8-player raid?
Yeah, I'll be playing with Corey and Ben.
Nice. That's awesome.
So
Tefty's trying to get in on that. Look at he's like,
I guess. You guys need an 8th. I'm gear score, 450, whatever. I can mold my gear,
Well, I mean, I know that Corey has so many people that he doesn't know what to do with right now. So there might be 2 teams, I think. Oh, really? Going
2 teams?
Yeah, together. Yeah.
Nice. That's cool.
So he's trying to get in on one of those teams.
I think it's exciting. I'm looking for a team, guys, right now. I think it's exciting that there is something called a raid. It's not like an incursion, right?
No.
Like they're calling it a raid. In the gaming industry, when you call something a raid, it's like horde mode. You have certain connotations.
Sensitive subject, Tefty.
That's right. It's a sensitive subject. There's a certain narrative that you start spinning when you say those words. So I really hope they nail it out.
Or like forge.
Yeah, a forge, horde mode, raid. These are things that we are very aware of as gamers and what they should mean. So I really hope that they knock it out of the park, honestly. I hope it's interesting mechanics and like it feels like a raid.
I hope so too. There have been some sprinklings of things that I've seen around in the world that, like just today, I saw something that looked like a raid mechanic. So I don't know. I'm interested to see how it goes. If they implement hunters or I don't know what. Ooh. I don't know.
I hope there's hunters in there.
It's just 8v8 team deathmatch against hunters.
There was a WoW raid like that actually, where like they tried to emulate a PvP match in a raid, and it got kind of crazy when all of a sudden it turns into a 20v20.
Was it?
And the enemies are all literal raid bosses with PvP type AI and abilities.
Whoa, intense.
It was great.
That's crazy.
I hated it. So the one thing I've I know raids. I know the first one that launched in Division 1 had a less than stellar response.
Oh, that's just because there was people were going in and hacking into a specific area in order to finish the raid before you actually activated any of the NPCs. So.
Oh, weird.
Yeah.
So what are Division raids compared? What are they like compared to, say, a Destiny raid?
I don't know.
It was the first one.
This is the first one.
There's never been a Division raid.
Okay.
So it'll be brand new. There've been some data mined. There's been some data mined information, but there's nothing really to. It's really just they really just got like what the objectives are, and that's really about it. So it's all you know. Like when you walk into a new area, it'll say like secure the lobby. I don't know, whatever. So that's all we really know right now. But I really know as much as you do about the raid right now.
Imagine this. So. There's 16 sledgehammer dudes running around.
Oh my god.
They can one-shot you.
Dodge rolling chunguses the whole day.
Oh god.
Literally sounds like Sekiro. That's literally what's happening.
They're not that difficult to dodge. I mean,
that's true, but 16? Somebody's bound to get hit.
One of them hits you, and it doesn't matter how full your armor is, you're dead.
That's true.
So,
yeah.
That cat is adorable. Just need some loving.
She just wants kisses.
I'm personally very excited for the future of Division 2. It's launched incredibly. World Tier 4 has been a lot of fun to go through. Yeah. I think the checkpoint system doesn't start until you hit World Tier 4, by the way. So some people might have been wondering if they're in World Tier 1 or 2 or 3. Like you don't actually, I believe that system doesn't start happening until World Tier 4. And then obviously World Tier 5 is going to open up new stuff.
The alert system, you mean, for the checkpoints?
To upgrade the checkpoints into higher tier and all that, right? Yeah.
Yeah,
that's World Tier 4, right? Okay, so everything that they've done so far with this launch has been really exciting. And they've really learned, it seems like they've learned from the issues that they had with Division 1, right?
It seems that way. Yeah, they've implemented a lot of new stuff into the game, and I don't know. It's from what I've played so far. I mean, people are like, "Well, what do you give the game out of 10?" And I've rated some other games very recently, and not so high. And this one, I give it like a solid 9. Like I really like it a lot. Like there are still some things that I think need to be ironed out, but I really like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it sets a pretty high bar for live games in the future. Like that launch.
And with all the content, there's so much to play. Like it just doesn't stop. So and PvP doesn't feel like there's no chicken dance anymore. It feels actually like PvP
I was
again.
Gonna say, how do you feel about the Dark Zone now?
It feels great. I mean, even Occupied Dark Zone feels good. Occupied Dark Zone feels more like the DZ in Division 1. And where you can like show off your build and everything, and your talents on your guns are like, a bit more viable. But in the balanced DZ, the normalized DZs, it's cool because like you can play against any level, and you can walk in at a level, I don't know, 6 or 7 and play against somebody who's level 30 and still have a good time. So
I felt like the balance or the balance one, it played really well. I like it because like you have to actually physically choose to go rogue, so you can't just accidentally shoot somebody, and you never know. There's always this tension if you're rolling with somebody who just showed up. You're like, are you gonna go rogue? We're attaching ropes. Are you about to drop it right now? And like it's really fun tension.
It's hard.
I felt like the occupied one was shoot on sight and more straight up PvP,
which was awesome.
Yeah,
I thought anytime you see somebody, you can just straight up start shooting them. It's like Escape from Tarkov, where you just like you see somebody and boop, boop, you're dead.
Yeah. So if you're going for loot, I felt like that's going to be annoying personally for me because I was like, I just spawned. Now they can camp at the door or go somewhere else. Like it felt more like straight up PvP, which I like that aspect. Like you said, like feels more like Tarkov. But the regular DZ, it feels more like controlled and less like when somebody's trying to be that person, and going on a manhunt's really fun too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think from what I found in the Occupied Dark Zone, it's more about like getting your loot and keeping it, or like getting it back when somebody steals it. It's all about like keeping your loot, and it's cool because like the extractions take so much less time. in the Occupied Dark Zone.
Nice.
Yeah, it takes like 30 seconds to, is it 30 seconds to get there? Maybe 45 seconds, but it takes 30 seconds from the time it drops, where in the normalized DZ, it's a minute. So,
right.
Oh, wow. That's a big difference.
So the stakes are raised because if somebody's there, they have to cut the rope faster in order to take your stuff.
Right.
So,
yep.
Pretty cool. Yeah. And things get out faster too, so you don't have to worry about people trying to jack your shit from the other side of the map.
I just can't imagine rolling through the occupied zone and actually befriending somebody. Because if I see somebody, I'm going to shoot them 100%.
I immediately think bad guys, shoot them.
I don't even know, honestly. I don't even know if you can. I bet you can talk to people in the Occupied Dark Zone. I don't have my VoIP on, so I don't know. But they changed it where you can't talk to rogue players in the DZ anymore. So if as soon as somebody goes rogue, you are not in the same voice channel anymore.
Huh.
Really?
So just to avoid toxic conversations. So
right.
But I don't know how it is in the Occupied DZ, actually. Chat might be able to answer that.
Is there better loot in the Occupied one, or is it the same loot?
It's not better, but there is a slightly higher chance of contaminated loot dropping. And when I went into the Occupied Dark Zone, that's all that dropped for me. So I only saw contaminated loot, whereas in the normalized DZ, you can get regular loot and contaminated loot. And contaminated loot is actually, when you extract it, for you specifically, it will be an upgrade. And for the next person over, it'll be an upgrade for them too, but a different upgrade. So when you extract the gear, it's always going to be better gear than what you have.
Can you explain that actually, like in terms of rolls and all that?
I don't know about the rolls, but all I know is that
gear score is always better.
I don't know if the gear score. All I know is that the gear is supposed to be better. It's supposed to be like whatever you extract is supposed to be better for you than what you already have.
Okay.
So, and I think that takes a pool from like what you have in your inventory right now.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Because I extracted a bunch of it. And I'm in that phase where I'm like, how do I know what's actually better? Some of them were high rolls, like 15% LMG damage on gloves. I'm like, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Discord just had a little hiccup there.
It did. It had a little like. I was like,
it's been happening. It's Discord. Yeah.
Intermittent.
It's Discord. And Discord's being Discord.
Yep.
Doing Discord stuff.
So
yeah, but
did you guys watch the Project Stadia announcement at all?
Google?
Yes.
I did not.
Well, no.
I read about it, but I did not watch it.
Read
If you guys want to do a fill in for anyone that hasn't seen it.
Yeah. So this is Google's new gaming platform that they announced at GDC this year, and it's not a gaming console. It's going to be a live gaming service, similar to PlayStation. Is it called PlayStation Now or On Live? Something like that, where you actually are playing a game. Yeah, you're playing a game that exists on a server, not on the device you're playing on it. So with Google's version, you'll be able to play on a TV that has like a Chromecast plugged in, or on a smartphone, or on any computer that has Chrome as a web browser. And you'll be able to play games on these servers. And these servers are going to be spread very widely throughout. So they started the demonstration by actually showing how widespread their server architecture is. And then they went on to explain that why that's important is because those servers are going to be very close to your house to hopefully provide very low latency with a service like that. Because that's been the knock on these services, right?
Mm-hmm.
GeForce Now has one where you can play a game on GeForce Now, and it's running on NVIDIA servers on very high-end hardware, but there's a latency between when I press a button and when I see that button press on my screen.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bit of latency. And with some games, it doesn't really matter that much, but with some games, it can be very important.
Shooters. Oh.
With shooters, I think is especially.
Yeah.
What Google is claiming is that there's going to be very, very low latency, almost unnoticeable. And actually, there's a Digital Foundry video where they actually timed it because there was a beta version of this available to the public. And Digital Foundry timed it to be about equal to an Xbox on a TV.
Really?
What kind of TV?
Like a TV that doesn't have game mode on?
They timed it at about 166 milliseconds.
Oh, that's bad.
Yikes.
I mean, that's about what an Xbox is.
To a TV.
When it's not on a game mode TV.
Yeah, not on a monitor.
Yeah.
Well, there's different ways you get latency, right? If you're using a Bluetooth controller, there's latency between the Bluetooth controller and the console. There's latency between the console and the TV. The TV's got its own latency. There's all these different places for latency to exist. I don't see Digital Foundries as having like a reason to talk this up, right? So, and normally their tech has been pretty on point as far as like when they're testing this kind of stuff. That seems really freaking good to me, though. I have a what is it called? NVIDIA Stream TV, whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called now. Anyhow, it works it connects via my home network to my PC, and I can play games on my TV with it, right? And there's more latency in that than what they're talking about here, right? It's like if I'm playing Division 2 on my TV downstairs and my PC's up here, it's like I could feel like there's obviously latency here. So they're talking a pretty crazy ass game about latency.
How much of that do you think is them pitching that they've got this technology?
Shield.
NVIDIA Shield is what you're talking about. Yeah. How much do you think it is them pitching the best case scenario versus average user experience?
I mean, I can't answer that question, and that question won't be answered fully until people actually get it in their hands, right?
Right.
But speaking of getting it in their hands, how about that controller?
The controller is the coolest part about the whole thing.
Is it?
One of the craziest things about this controller, it looks like an Xbox controller to me. I don't know. Does it look weird to you?
Well, it's only wireless.
Yeah.
It can't be
wired? It's only wireless. No. It works off of
really?
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And it directs directly to the Google server. It doesn't actually connect to the thing that is playing the video stream of the game you're playing. So you have two different direct points of contact with Google server. One is from the controller and one is for the video. So
that makes stuff slower?
It means there's less latency theoretically, because instead of your controller attaching to, let's say, your computer and then to your router and then to Google server, this thing is going directly to your router and then to Google server. So it's bypassing any other device in the house. It's not like where your controller needs to connect to your Xbox. Your Xbox controller needs to connect to your Xbox. This doesn't connect to your Google box. It connects to Wi-Fi and then directly to Google. So it takes some of the latency out of the equation because of that.
Interesting.
I like the way that sounds. My problem is more with the way that controller looks like it feels. I'm trying to think of like the proper way to say it, but like visually, if you were to take a brick and try to like quantify that as something that's comfortable to hold, that's what that controller looks like.
OG Nintendo controllers?
It can't be as bad as a Steam controller.
Steam controller, Steam controller looked round. Like when I've held a Steam controller, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see how my hand is supposed to be cradled in this. When I've seen the Stadia controller,
I think it's unfair to look at a controller and give opinions about how comfortable it is. Like if you look at the NVIDIA Shield controller, it looks like the most uncomfortable thing in the world, but it's actually pretty comfortable. Like if you look at an NVIDIA Shield controller, it's all angles and like sharp, but it's actually really comfortable to hold. So judging a controller by the look of it to say how comfortable it is, I think that's it. Yeah, not really fair.
I feel
it's not, but I'm still going to do it because it looks really fucking uncomfortable.
It looks like an Xbox controller to me.
So I kind of feel like this is a tough sell for gamers, personally. Like, I think this is bridging the gap between somebody who's like, man, I really like playing Candy Crush or whatever type of Knight's Quest adventure on my phone. It would like something that's a little bit more like a game that I could play that's more dedicated. Introduce Google Stadia. It's super easy. You connect to the server, that type of thing. I feel like that's the market that this could excel at, because for me, 166 milliseconds of delay, no way. I noticed that on OBS. If there's 166 milliseconds in delay between something, it bugs the hell out of me right there. And I think a lot of people who play games on 1 millisecond monitors are immediately going to notice that. And if it's any kind of shooter, there's no way you're going to be dealing with that.
Any action type of game, like it. Like
well, for me, it really depends on the game. Like Destiny, I can't play on my Nvidia Shield. Like it just doesn't work for me. But the Division, I can play it no problem. Like no problem. With a controller in my hand, with feet up on the coffee table, and I'm playing Division. I'm a little less accurate, but I'm a little less accurate because I've got a controller and there's a little bit of lag. But ultimately, I'm still playing the Division. I'm not really bothered by it. I played all the way through Tomb Raider. I played all the way through a bunch of games that have shooting mechanics in it. There's other really interesting things about this. Before we give our final reviews, right?
Yeah.
There's some really other interesting things. One is that this thing is stackable and scalable. So it can run games at 4K 60 frames per second. Like current games, they pointed out Assassin's Creed Odyssey, 4K 60 frames per second, which is pretty strong hardware, right, to do that.
Yeah.
But if the hardware at that point isn't good enough to get the result that the developer wants, they can just throw 2 units at it and they're scalable. So it's basically like having 2 of these servers in SLI, and the game can run off of that if that's what the game calls for, if that's what the best user experience is, which is really cool.
That's fascinating.
Also, you can play a game at 4K 60 frames per second and stream it at 4K 60 frames per second. And it's 2 independent outputs from the server. You don't actually have to use any of your internet to stream 4K 60 frames per second. That's happening from NVIDIA's servers directly onto YouTube.
To Twitch or YouTube? Yeah.
YouTube. Of course it's YouTube. It's Google, right?
Right. My bad.
True.
Obviously.
Yeah, no problem.
Forgot about that.
Awkward.
Which is, if you think about it, this is crazy. So if you're playing, let's say, Assassin's Creed Odyssey, and you wanted to stream it, you could do it at 4K 60 frames per second with no worry about what your personal internet connection is. In fact, you could be playing at 1080p on your TV, but streaming 4K 60 to YouTube.
That's interesting. Yeah.
That's really interesting.
That's cool. How much, how's the game, platform work in terms of, buying a game?
We don't know. They haven't. So that's, I think that's, the 3 big unknowns for this are, how's it going to feel with latency? What is the pricing going to be? Because I don't even know, are we going to be paying per game? Or are we going to be paying a monthly service like Netflix? How is that going to work, right? And then what kind of library are they going to have? A couple more things before we wrap this up, right? Is another integration that they have is directly with YouTube. So let's say Watts is playing Sekiro on YouTube. I can just be let me pick a better game. Let me pick Division 2. Let's say Liz is playing Division 2 on YouTube. There will be a button that says, "Oh, I just want to join her game," while she's streaming it, and it'll instantly open the game in your Chrome browser, and you can start playing it. There's no install, there's no download. It just instantly starts playing on the screen. Now, obviously, you'd have to agree to that. You'd have to want people to join your game, right?
Okay. That's cool, though, if that's what you want,
Yeah, or if, somebody just sees you playing a certain game, they'd be like, this game looks fun, I'm going to check it out, and be playing with it within 5 seconds.
Pretty cool.
Which is powerful because there are millions of people watching YouTube videos about games, and if they have a button under that video that just says, "Oh, I'm going to check that out now," and it works on a computer, on your TV, or on your phone, you can just start playing Division 2 on your phone if it supports that. Because it's completely device independent.
It sounds too good to be true, honestly.
Yeah.
That sounds really. I'm just, my internet back home, for a majority of the time that I was there, I had fucking 15 down and 5 up.
Yeah. Well, you could use Netflix. You could use this.
I could barely use Netflix. So
then you might not be able to use this.
What's this going to mean for cross-platform? Do you think that'll have any impact on cross-platforming games?
I think it'll just be another platform. Ubisoft plans to just support it like another platform right now.
Oh,
wait,
really?
So PC, consoles, and Stadia?
Right.
Huh.
Okay, so if it's its own platform, then how's stuff developed for it?
Well, things will be cross-developed for it.
Okay, so they have to actually develop the game for it then. It's not just like, hey, this game came out on PC, so there you go, it can go over.
I'm not a programmer, but Ubisoft is supporting it. You know, they showed Assassin's Creed. Actually, people have played Assassin's Creed on it already. I assume it's a PC port of the game that's
what I'm assuming.
You know, got Stadia stuff in it to support it, because what these servers are basically AMD PCs with AMD graphics cards and AMD CPUs that are like specifically designed to go in these Google servers to work it. As things are going to be stackable, so that, you know, you just throw 1 million of them in and, you know, just go to town with it.
This sounds really good to be true. I'm insanely skeptical due to just like, you know, internet just is not there. The infrastructure for it is just not there. In most
right. So it's not there now. But one of the things, I was talking to Gary Diaz about this, and he mentioned that 5G is like right on the horizon, right? And 5G offers a lot of really interesting features, including extremely low latency over a wireless connection, right? So if you have a phone with a 5G connection in it, you can expect very low latency, assuming you have service on that phone. That's one of the standards of 5G, and 5G is like right around the corner. They're rolling it out across America now.
Cool,
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Data caps are definitely going to be
what
an issue.
What happens if this doesn't perform as well as Google wants it to? Because I'm still,
if it doesn't, like, so that's what I was talking about. There's 3 things, right? If it costs too much, if the lag sucks and it just doesn't feel good to play it, or if, you know, there's no games available, I think any one of those 3 sink it. But it is Google, and if anybody's going to make, I think personally, if anybody's going to make this work, it's going to be Google, because they have the infrastructure, they have the networking know-how. You know, like, if anybody, a lot of people have tried. OnLive tried it years ago, and I think they got bought by PlayStation, and that's basically what the PlayStation Now service is. NVIDIA's been trying it. There's been a bunch of other companies that have been trying it. But one of the advantages Google has is they already have the infrastructure near your house.
True.
Right? So they have these installations that are actually regionally very broad. And that could be the secret sauce to the low latency.
Definitely. I mean, it has to be. You have to.
I wish them all the best, because this sounds like it would be a pretty huge thing for gaming in general.
Yeah. It could be a game changer. It could be like, it could be an end to the console wars that we know. I mean, we know Microsoft is working on something similar, but it worries the shit out of me that it's fucking Google doing it. Because if they do pull it off, I'm already scared of Google. Do I want them owning another thing that I rely on?
Yeah. Understandable.
Do you think it's going to be free with ads? Google
ads?
ads?
Oh my God.
I don't see. I mean, they got to pay for the game somehow.
In the middle of your gameplay, all of a sudden.
Google ad.
Oh my God.
Oh God. That would be terrible.
Let me tell you about fur hymns.
Imagine playing Division, walking down the street, and there's a Google ad that pops up on the billboard in Division.
That already used to happen. Remember, what was that racing game? Paradise City. Oh, Burnout Paradise. They had real ads in games on billboards.
Wow.
There's
that game came out years ago.
There's a plugin for Counter-Strike Source that would do it as well. You could make a custom map and have like, hey, this is a textured area where the ad will pop up. And it was usually like in the initial spawn zone. And they're like subway ads that would run and shit.
So let me ask you guys a question. Let's say the lag felt like you were playing on a console, right? Would you guys check this out?
Playing on a console?
Yeah.
For curiosity, I'd have to. If it
out of
actually
curiosity,
works.
I would try it. I would try it. You have to.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, 4K 60 without
when
buying
is it supposed to...
into any hardware. This year, it's supposed to come out.
Wow, really? Okay.
Yeah. Playing a game at 4K 60 without buying like a $400 or $500 box, never mind a PC. I mean, I got a $2,000, $3,000 PC here that barely gets Division 2 to run at 4K 60, right?
It's true. There's a lot of it that seems too good to be true. If they pull it off, they'll be incredible. And if it actually does like feel low latency, like It'd be incredible, honestly.
What do you think the pricing would be?
I see. That's the thing.
Subscription based, probably subscription based, and probably per month. I don't know.
You think it'd be like
$20 a month?
See,
you think so?
I even feel like
so cheap.
Really? Because I feel like $15-20 is already a little expensive for a service.
I mean, that's how much you pay for Netflix, right? $15.
I think.
Are the games free, or are you paying
now?
On top of that?
As of last month.
It's $14.
Oh, it's $14 for Netflix. I haven't looked at my Netflix bill in literally years.
You just let it
on that Tefty. Think about what Google Stadia will do. It's like, start at low price $10, and like you use that for a couple months, and all of a sudden they're going to jack it up. By like
if I can get grandfathered in on a price structure, maybe, I don't know.
Just gonna keep increasing.
I don't like. It's got to be expensive enough to pay for the games, right? Like, and
the infrastructure.
Obviously they've already gotten Ubisoft to kind of sign into this, so you can expect the Ubisoft games to be there. So like Division 2 could theoretically be playable on this. The other amazing thing, okay, so this thing is a little more pie in the sky, but they mentioned it a little bit, is because your game is running on a server, individual people's lag wouldn't matter in multiplayer games, or wouldn't matter to you. The only lag that matters to you would be your lag between you and the server, right? Everybody would be running in the same instance on the same server structure, right? So they could have 1,000-player 1,000-player battle royales where the only lag that you'd ever notice is between you and the server. Like everybody else would be, it'd be imperceptible.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. And I definitely want to check it out and see what it's like. I'm just currently very skeptical.
It's also because they did that on their slideshow pitch of what it is, and I know that there's been already some testing and what the milliseconds are and for the delay and all that, but like it still seems a whole lot of pie in the sky of this technology actually working without a hitch. When I hear you saying somebody click on a button to join your game and it opens up a browser window that loads the game, I'm thinking that's got to fail like 90% of the time. And then like that 10% user base is like, this works flawlessly. But everybody else is like, that never works for me, man. Like ever. Every time I click the button, it just crashes or something.
I mean, all you're doing is bringing up a video feed, though. It's like bringing up like a Netflix video.
Yeah.
It's just streaming videos as far as and then you got this controller that's connected to.
But think about how many times like just joining on somebody in Destiny has become a cluster. Like just, why want to join? I don't know.
I hear you there.
I keep getting pineappled. Why are you getting pineappled? I don't know. It's the servers.
I don't think streamers are gonna like necessarily be inviting people in to play their game like randomly all the time. You only got so many slots in your fire team anyway, right? Like that's not gonna be that big a feature. But just like watching a game, being like, man, this Division 2 looks pretty cool. Let me check it out. And 5 seconds later, I'm playing it. That's pretty cool.
It's definitely cool, especially if they give like something to streamers. Like if they can track if someone purchased the game from watching you play that game. That'd be cool.
Yeah, right. It's Google. Come on.
I know they're not going to, but it would be really cool.
So one of my other worries, I talked about this a little bit earlier on like my stream, and it's kind of like the problem that we're facing now where like games, both as a service and games that get released digitally, like archiving the history of games is really fucking hard. It's already difficult just with all the number of systems over the years and like trying to make a physical database of, every game that's ever released for just a, history's sake. Like what happens when you buy a game on this service and then maybe that game doesn't do well, so they just take it off the service, or like we don't know what the price structure is, but also at the same time, like I don't know, I'm worried about what this is going to do to like kind of the long-term history of gaming. Like in the immediate short term, it sounds fucking awesome. Just, hey, you can play stuff in an absolute celebration of that, but
what if you want to go back and play Destiny 1, 5 years down the road and you can't?
I mean,
you're not going to be able to do that anyway.
You already can't.
Right? Once they shut down those servers, that's done. You'll never play Destiny 1 again.
Are we entering an age where video games are becoming more like websites where they change over time and some of them just straight up disappear?
No, we already have.
We already are. I mean, you can't play the original version of World of Warcraft. They're creating a new version of that, aren't they?
Yes. WoW Classic.
WoW Classic. It's supposed to come out, in the summer?
Mm-hmm. I'm very much looking forward to that. But yeah, like,
didn't the CM get fired? The one who was handling that?
Yeah. During the Activision Blizzard layoffs, a lot of people got laid off. So
yeah.
Yikes.
Oh, another cool feature about this thing is there's going to be a specific button on the controller that looks up YouTube hint videos of the section of the game you're on. So expect to see a flood of videos on YouTube.
I can't wait to figure out
videos on
how to beat this specific boss on YouTube.
I can't wait to watch the 10-minute, 1-second videos on how to beat this boss. Or
hopefully, they kind of mentioned that it would be using machine learning.
Oh, that's gone
kind of
so
match up
swimmingly
like
well
the video to the video. So you're not gonna have to watch the intro. You're just gonna watch the part where the shit actually happens. Hopefully.
What if Stadia gets a copyright strike and shuts down video games?
Interesting.
That's
our dystopian future right there.
Sorry, YouTube or Google. Copy DMCA. Can't stream that game.
If this thing works, it has the potential to change up video games like on a level that like I think like introducing polygons to video games like 3D or introducing like digital media to games or the internet to games. Like it could be an absolute paradigm shift for video games in general if it works. But there's so many people working on that even if Google's not the one to make it work, somebody's going to figure it out. Because every company is working on it.
I hear you. I just feel like the infrastructure for most people is just not really there yet. Like it's 5 to 10 years.
Can I get fiber now? Like, is that too much to ask?
Maybe they're going to roll out Google Fiber along with the launch to every neighborhood in the world.
Yeah, I don't think still waiting on that back in Nashville.
I don't think they stopped rolling out Google Fiber, or I think they stopped rolling out Google Fiber because they saw 5G coming. Like 5G is it's better.
Oh, you think?
In every way, and it works on everything. Like, why have a home internet connection when your devices can all just work over 5G?
Do you think 5G is just going to become the norm then for internet, and like people are going to sign up with 5G services, and it's always going to be Wi-Fi?
Yeah. I mean, the technical specs for 5G are incredible.
I mean, if there is no latency, like, what would be the point of hardwiring if you literally getting the same latency?
Because I'm so happy with my current internet provider, I'd just be sad to see him go.
I'm personally happy, but I'm not with Comcast. I got 1 gig up and down, you know what I'm saying?
They've built up so much customer loyalty that I'd never want to switch, man.
Built up something with me.
What if Comcast installs 5G towers everywhere?
We're fucked.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And they give you the same internet, only over 5G.
I mean, over the last 5 years, my internet bill went from $60 a month to $160 a month. And it's not any faster than it used to be.
Jesus.
Yeah, I just had to pay to get the same speed. I had to pay more to get the same speed, and then they introduced bandwidth cap that I had to pay to get around.
Yeah.
Jeez.
That sucks.
Stop watching Netflix, man. Jeez.
Maybe Discord could get in on this and
Discord freaking out.
A little bit.
Yeah.
We have no idea what you said, but the video watchers and audio listeners is fine because you're the one hosting the call. It's great.
Cool.
Yeah. You're basically the Google Stadia server.
Yeah,
it's fine.
There we go. Nice.
That's right. Tefty is secretly behind Stadia.
I've been behind it the whole time.
Briar, did we want to ask Liz any questions from our?
Yeah, Liz, we did actually get some specific questions to you and some that I just thought you'd be good at answering too.
Sure, let's do it.
Mr. J asked, "What have you enjoyed the most while playing Division 2?"
That's hard. I think the difficulty level is really exciting. It makes the game the fact that it's hard to play the game and you know that you're going to get wrecked and you have to play defensively really just makes it makes your experience more heightened. And I don't know. I think that's why I like other games, similar type games like Escape from Tarkov, where it's just a very, very hard game to play. It's very difficult, very brutal. I really like that about the game because it makes me feel like, okay, I have to work really, really, really hard to accomplish something in this game. And that's how I feel about the Division right now. I have to work really, really, really hard and be really good in order to get anywhere. So it makes me feel accomplished once I've finished playing the game for the day. So I like that.
Dan is alive says, "Can I have $1?"
I mean, yeah. What's your PayPal?
Red Elephant 247 says, "Is Anthem dead? And how has the Division 2 been successful in doing the same things?"
Oh, okay. So I played Anthem all the way to the Masterwork level. And I did it for a reason because I felt like I wanted to give it a shot. Everybody told me, wait till you get to 30, wait till you get to max level, wait till you get Masterwork. It's going to be so much more fun. And they were right. Masterwork level is fun, but I feel like it should feel like that all the way through the leveling process. Mm-hmm. And I just hated the game. I hated it the whole time I was playing it. I mean, I literally just be like, I hate this game. I hate it. Why am I still playing it? And now I like it. I started with my rating of the game was like 3.5. Like that's my rating. And then once I got to Masterwork level, I was like, all right, my final rating for the game is 6.5. That's my rating. That's how much I like the game. And I don't think it's going to go anywhere. It's a big jump. It is a jump.
That's how it is in Anthem, right? Like you're basically playing the first part of the game, getting boring loot. It's not interesting. You're doing the same thing. And you only start getting excited about loot when you get to the end game, where you start getting Masterworks and Legendaries and you can start making builds. But up until then, you don't really have any way to kind of get a sample of making builds or those exciting items.
That's something the Division 2 does very well.
Yeah, exactly. And you need to do that well, right? Because a lot of people are going to be like, I'm not finding this loot interesting. I'm just not going to keep playing. You shouldn't have to get to end game to start seeing stuff drop and be excited about it.
That's the thing in Division 2 is with Division 2, as soon as you start playing, you can play with gear sets.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's like immediate. You get gear sets and you can start putting them together if you want to. And that's really cool. I just think that, I don't know. What was the question again?
It's a little oddly worded, so answer whatever you want.
I don't know. I just feel like comparatively, if I'm going to compare like the RPG aspect of it, I think that Division 2 does it a whole lot better. It's a much more clear aspect. And also it has a stat page. Why doesn't Anthem have a stat page? Why can't I see how much damage I'm doing? Like it just
all it's about is stats.
RPGs, you don't need to know the stats of your character. Just fucking look it up on each piece of armor. Write it down on some graph paper, you nerd.
Yeah, do your math.
Get some freaking Excel going.
Open up a Google Doc, man. Put it in the cloud.
You use your TI-86 from high school, you fucking idiot.
Get your TI-83 out. Oh my god.
I'm playing Block Dude.
See, what if Stadia answered that question? You're playing Anthem, you click on a button that says calculate my stats, it brings it over to a Google Doc because it's already connected to the game and knows what's up.
What did you just ask your controller? What are my stats?
What are my stats?
How much damage am I doing? Thank you,
Hello,
Google.
Tefty. Your address is, your height is, your weight is, your social security number is. No, I'm talking about Anthem, asshole.
Yeah. I can't. I think that being able to see all your stats is important. I don't know.
It's very
I don't
important.
know. I really, really like the way the Division allows you to do the RPG stuff from the very beginning. I think that's super cool. And I know that Anthem does do that, but it doesn't. I don't know. You just don't feel like you're building anything right away. In Division, I feel like you are. You can.
I really can't wait for Anthem 1.8.
I have not canceled my Origin premiere yet.
Hey, Watts, thanks for gifting me that free month of that, by the way.
That's nice.
Welcome.
Speaking of I don't know, I guess Division 2 just does carrot on a stick better. And speaking of carrot on a stick, David, Mr. Person running in the marathon, I want you to visualize that carrot on a stick.
Carrot?
Right.
Okay.
Big
and in front of you.
Carrot.
It's a donut.
Right. Do not focus on that crippling leg cramp. Focus on that carrot on a stick.
You got it, David.
You got this, man. You're
also hydrate.
You're not going to get eaten by zombies that are chasing you right now. Just keep running. You're good. You got this.
ComplyRL says, all right, Destiny 2, Anthem, Division 2. In 10 years' time, which of these games, in your humble opinion, will be flourishing and which will be extinct from a player-based perspective?
Anthem is extinct. The game was done in 12 hours. I mean, what can you say? Anthem's extinct.
Apparently, it was the second most selling game so far in 2019.
Really?
Yeah.
Good thing we're only 3 months
into the second most refunded game as well?
Apparently, it generated $100 million in February and had like the second largest launch since Mass Effect 3.
What was the first?
I don't know, but
I hope it's Resident
Evil.
Yeah, it's probably
like the first fucking movie that comes out in January. It's like the highest selling movie of the year.
Suck it over
What's funny though is remember the article coming out like in Britain or something. Oh, physical copies are super low. Anthem is BioWare is going to be shut down now, guys. Clearly, they're shutting the studios down right now because low sales of physical copies. It's just it's another news bit. It's just funny to like make these predictions. Yeah.
I think, I don't know, I'd like to see Division flourish and have, like a whole series, like another Tom Clancy, like I referenced Splinter Cell. I really like, they did a lot of those. I don't know, I think it'd be cool to see more of them. Spin-offs, that type of thing. Like what happened to all the sick people, like, I don't know.
I mean, technically, all three of them are going to be dead. We'll have Division 4 or 5.
Yeah, probably 5.
I don't know. Destiny had a 10-year plan. I don't know. Are they still planning on ending this thing at 10 years, or are they going to keep
Destiny
going?
Destiny 3 coming?
Years?
They're not with Activision anymore, so that plan was with Activision, right?
I hope the 10-year plan starts with Destiny 3. Like this was all a test run, being like, I don't know what we should do. Maybe this.
Destiny 1 was the beta.
Yeah, the beta. Destiny 2 was the beta 0.5.
Extended beta.
Yeah, extended beta plus, for early access. And now we get like the real Destiny Online experience. It's like a 10-year journey where you get to keep
a little bit of a side note. I was listening to Jason Schreier's podcast today, and they had a guy, I can't remember the dude's name, but it was well worth listening to the podcast, who worked for 343, and he worked on Halo 4. And he said one of the biggest hurdles they had working on Halo 4 was that they had the Halo license and they had the Halo code base, but they had no documentation for the code.
Wow.
So they were going back and looking at Bungie's old like GDC presentations trying to figure out what the shit was.
Wow. That's amazing.
Oh, that was Halo. It was funny. It was like taking all the W's off of the keyboard when Bill Clinton left office. And that's it. I guess it's Division talk or Destiny talk.
Cool.
All right.
Well, Liz, thank you for coming on. I don't know if that we're trying out a new format here, and it feels super awkward just be like, oh, we're gonna talk about Destiny.
That's cool. I mean, I don't really have too much to add to the conversation. I'm happy to cut out. I appreciate you guys having me, and I had such an amazing time mansplaining to all of you. So
thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for being on.
I love having you on. You're always
so sweet. No, thank you so much. It's great.
Where can Holtz.
You do it. You have a better voice for
it. Where can people find you? When and where do you stream? And how can people follow you?
You can follow me on every medium everywhere. SchviftyFive, SchviftyFive. I know you can spell it weird. But I'm on Twitch. I stream 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, around noon-ish, And then I'm on Twitter and Instagram and all of that good stuff. So
awesome.
Find me.
Thanks for joining us, Liz.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thanks for being on.
Thank you, guys. All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Stop the recording and upload it.
And definitely get ready to change all your windows.
Yeah, I just remembered. I'm like, I have to click as soon as that goes away. All right,
I'm leaving. Bye, guys.
Bye. Thanks for coming on.
Bye.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, look at this format. Look, this looks so good right here.
Everyone's face.
Wow.
So
I switched it. Yeah, okay. Kind of worked.
Did it work?
I mean, we're kind of cropped. What's your forehead's cropped? Let me adjust
Up or down?
it. I'm going to adjust it.
Do you want me to get lower or higher?
No, you're good. I'm adjust it. All right, we're doing this live.
I think we just need Giant Briar. Giant Briar was the best.
I was a big fan myself.
Giant optimal Briar.
Oh, there was one non-Destiny thing we could have talked about.
What's that?
Fucking Halo.
Sekiro.
Fucking Halo.
Didn't we talk about Halo already though last week?
No.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we said Halo Reach is coming out first. I could have sworn we talked about that.
Okay, never mind then. Fuck me, right? Destiny talk.
Sekiro?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Unless Watts wants to talk about Sekiro.
Let's talk about Sekiro real quick.
Let's do that.
So Sekiro is a new game from Software, the makers of Dark Souls, Bloodborne, the rage-inducing video games that everyone gets real mad at. But the big difference between this game and other games is, so in Bloodborne and Dark Souls, you can kind of just like roll around, slash, and you can eventually kill stuff. Yeah. But in Sekiro, you can sort of do that, but there's a whole new system that they've introduced. So there is a system where both you and the enemies have a posture. So it's like your stance, your shinobi stance. And the whole gameplay is you trying to break their stance to land a death blow. And they're trying to do the same to you. So the way that you get rid of their stance is you have to counter attack stuff, you have to deflect stuff, and you can also hit. So you can slash away at some guys, and it's okay to do that. But you're gonna want to get real good at deflecting in order to actually break those postures quickly.
Is that like a parry?
Yeah, it's like parrying. Yeah, so it's all about timing, which can be definitely difficult because, of course, each different character has different patterns of attacking, different speeds of attacking. So you're having to learn each different character and their timing and stuff like that, which, of course, you have to do in Bloodborne and Dark Souls as well.
Mm-hmm.
You had to learn their attack patterns. But there's mini bosses that they have like little circles above their health. So you have a health bar, a stance bar kind of thing, and then you have these circles. And you have to break their stance, and then you can do a death blow, and it gets rid of one of the circles. So you have to get rid of all the circles. So you basically have to kill 2 health bars worth of these mini bosses. So it's really interesting. There's a lot that you can do with it. I don't know if any of you guys have played Tenchu.
Yes.
It's like Tenchu mixed with Bloodborne and Dark Souls. So it's like the perfect marriage of both of them. Going for death blows, you're being sneaky, you're going on top of rooftops with your grappling, and you're jumping down.
The grappling looks so fun, Watts.
It is a lot of fun. There's a lot that you can do with it. There's skills that you can get where you can like swing from your grapple and land on top of an enemy. So another thing that makes it pretty different is you don't get new weapons necessarily and new armor. You have the same sword that you use the whole time, but you do have a prosthetic arm. And that arm can have stuff like you can shoot fire from your arm, you can get an axe, you can get shurikens to throw, and each enemy reacts differently to like fire or axes and stuff like that. So you have dudes with shields where you need to use your axe on them to get rid of their shield. And then you have some other guys who, if you use fire, the fight's super easy, but if you don't, then it's really, really difficult. So you're constantly looking for the best way to approach the battle. And it really makes you have that feeling of a shinobi because you're standing there and they've got their sword and you've got your sword and you're kind of just dancing around and waiting for the right opportunity to hit, to dodge, to jump, because there's also their standard attacks. So they have their standard attack pattern. Some will do slash slash, some will do slash slash slash. But there's also like these special moves that they have. And these special moves can either be a jab, which you have to parry or get out of the way of. They have sweeping jump or completely get out of the way of. And then there's grabs, which you can't block them. You cannot block the grabs. Don't try and block the grabs. You die. A lot of the grabs will kill you in one shot.
Wow.
They just grab you, you're just dead. So you also have to pay attention to that. And a lot of the mini bosses do all 3 of them. So it pops up on the screen that they're about to do one of those moves, and you have to figure out really quickly whether you need to jump, you need to parry, you need to dodge. So it's very hard. It feels, in my opinion, it feels harder than other Souls games, but that's probably because I really kind of crutched on just dodging around and hitting stuff. And in this game, if you're really good at parrying, then you'll probably be really good at Sekiro. But if not, you're gonna have to get used to parrying.
Gonna have to get good.
How is the story? How's the story told in past like From Software games? It's like you get an item and you're trying to like piece together the story from like item descriptions. And is there an actual storyline in this game? There
is a story, yeah. So there's a lot of cutscenes so far. I've played maybe 5 hours or so. But there's a lot of cutscenes. There is definitely the items. There's like notes that you can see, and you can read notes from people. You go and talk to NPCs, and they give you more story. So it is pieced around, but there's cutscenes. It makes some sense. You know, in a lot of FromSoft games, you're kind of like, all right, probably here for the story. It's very out there, but I sort of understand what's going on. But another really cool thing about the story, and it actually plays into the gameplay, is there's a thing called dragon rot. So in Sekiro, when you die, you're not just instantly dead. You have the option to resurrect yourself because you have the blood of a dragon. Apparently makes you a zombie boy. So you can resurrect and then you can keep fighting. Yeah. But every time you do that, you inflict this dragon rot disease on NPCs that you've met. So when you keep doing it, you notice that you go to NPCs and they're coughing up blood, they're wheezing because you've been resurrecting yourself so much.
Wow.
So part of the story is also trying to look for a cure for this dragon rot. So there's
like a timer on that? Like can you like die if you die too many times?
Yeah, so you can only use it, so you only have one chance to come back and get a kill. But if you do, so I was talking about the death blows. If you're fighting this boss and you get a death blow and you get rid of one of their circles, it gives you another resurrection.
Oh, okay.
So you can die, resurrect, you're like, damn, nearly had him. You can get that death blow and then you get another resurrect back.
But every time you do it, NPCs are getting the mange.
Yeah.
The mange.
So every time it pops up, I'm just like, sorry. It also affects, so there's this mechanic where basically every time you die, you lose half your stuff. So that's half your XP, half your skill points, half your money.
Wow.
Half everything.
You don't get it back?
You don't get it back. You cannot. Ooh. You can't go out in the world and grab it. It's gone. It's gone forever.
Ouch. Don't
die. It's
rough.
I see. Yeah, it's bad. And the more you keep resurrecting yourself, you kind of curse yourself because it's called unseen aid. And every time you die, you have a percentage chance of getting your stuff back, like not losing it. But every time you keep resurrecting yourself, you cut that percentage down. So you have to make this decision of, do I just want to die and cut my losses? Do I actually think that I can win here? Because if I don't, I'm going to cut that percentage down to where I have less of a chance of keeping my stuff. So there's a lot to think about. There's a lot of stuff to think about. And the thing that I've been really struggling with is like, okay, I'm parrying. I'm getting used to it. There's this one mini boss who does a lunge attack. I can parry that. Awesome, cool. But then he'll just randomly do a sweep attack, and I'm freaking dead. Because
have you been streaming this, Watts? Or
I did stream it. I got an early code.
Okay,
so
I can go watch more on your Twitch channel.
You can watch more on my Twitch channel. I'm going to be playing it all day tomorrow as well. And I love these games because it's a story game and a single player game that it really feels like you are learning as you're playing the game. Like you're progressively understanding, parrying better, and you're like, okay, these guys are weak to fire. So I love learning. It constantly feels like you're improving and learning.
What platform are you playing it on?
So from my knowledge, all of the early access codes were given to PlayStation. I bought it on PC, so I have it on both. Which will be interesting to see the graphic difference. It looks beautiful on PlayStation.
How's it run? Because Bloodborne, when it came out, man, that game ran terribly.
It runs really well. There's been maybe 2 times during the 5 hours that I played where I've noticed a little bit of frame drop for like a very tiny amount of time. But other than that, there's so much going on with fire everywhere and all this stuff, and it performs really well. So
Is it locked at 30 frames per second?
I don't know, actually. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Does it have a 4K mode? Do you know?
I don't know that either. I think it does.
How's the level design? Like one of the main things from a From Software game is it always feels like there's like these levels that feel almost like somewhat open worldy, and they have like these shortcuts, so it makes it easier to find, like, get back to where. Is there stuff like that in there?
There is, yeah. It definitely feels like a From Software game, but it's just the battle is a little bit different when you're fighting dudes. So you'll see, okay, there's some ranged guys. The really cool thing with the grapple actually is you'll see ranged people, and you probably want to take those out first because you don't want to be fighting. You're there like having a shinobi battle with some sword guy and you're getting shot by 3 guys with arrows. So the really cool thing is you can grapple on top of a roof and you can really prioritize the targets that you take out. So it makes you have more of an assassin feel about your gameplay.
That mobility, one of the coolest moves that mobility is completely different from other FromSoft games. Being like,
it's totally different.
Grapple to a tree, to the cliff, you jump up, you climb up, like get on the roofs, like very different.
Yeah. And
one of the coolest moves I saw was somebody grappled up into the air and they kind of used their momentum to keep going up in the air. And then as they were coming down, they targeted somebody for an assassination. And you got to aim those assassinations and hit the button at the right time. Yeah. It's not like you like queue up that animation, right?
Nice.
Yeah. So you'll see like a kind of a red blood circle pop up on the person. And that's when you can do just a death blow straight away. So it's all about just going for the death blows. You just got to go for death blows. Don't die because you're going to lose all of your skill points. And you need those skill points to level up. Because although it's not like, it doesn't have RPG aspects like Bloodborne or Dark Souls does, you still have skills that you can unlock. You have combat arts that you can unlock, which are like moves that the actual character can do. And then you also have ways to level up your prosthetic arm. You have ways to unlock new moves, like Briar, what you were talking about, like swinging from the grapple and actually attacking from that. That's a move that you have to unlock. You don't just have that. So there is some progression. It's just not as deep as other RPG aspects in Bloodborne.
Interesting.
Because you're like, you are this shinobi. Like you look this way, you have the grappling hook, you're mobile, and you have your katana. Like,
so can you not actually do builds in this game?
You can prioritize stuff. Like you can go to combat arts, for example, right? And there'll be like a spinning move that you can choose, or you can choose like a sliding attacking move. So you can definitely prioritize ways that you want to play. Maybe you're someone that's really mobile, that's likes using the grappling hook. You can go all in on that tree straight away. I don't know if I assume that at some point in the game you can unlock everything if you just play enough and get enough skill points.
New game
but
plus.
Early on, I think you're definitely going to want to prioritize going for certain stuff. If there's a mini boss, for example, that you found that does a lot of jabbing attacks, maybe you want to prioritize a skill that helps you against that kind of attack. So I think prioritizing is important, or you can just keep playing the exact same level over and over and over again and getting skill points and get as powerful as you can get.
And then next level die and then lose all your skill points.
Lose all your skill points, and then you're like, well, gotta start all over again. Cool.
Awesome.
It's definitely punishing.
Can you save scum to keep your skill points?
No.
Interesting.
You die, you lose half. If you're halfway to getting like your 3rd skill point, you die.
I'd really like you to change that, Watts. That sounds too punishing.
Yeah. What was the thought process when making that decision development?
As any Soulsborne game, fuck you is the design decision.
Okay.
True. It's actually really ingenious because players who have played Dark Souls and Bloodborne have gotten pretty used to this certain way of playing. And this one's like, so everything you learned in those games, forget it, start over.
Wow.
Because you have to play it differently. That whole stance, because you have the health bar, you have the stance, you have the death blows. You have to deal with all of that. You can't just sit there and roll around on the floor and slash things.
Interesting. I'm looking
Are you
forward
going to be playing
that.
Tonight, Tefty?
Maybe.
Are you going to start tonight or tomorrow?
We'll see. So you have to, since it's very different, there's a lot of learning with it. I've got to gauge my energy levels, like how much new stuff.
I legitimately had a headache after this one dude. I was like, I can parry your jab, but when you go for the sweep, I'm dead. I can't tell which one he's going to do.
Huh.
Yeah.
You don't get a lot of warning?
You get warning, but it popped. There's a little like kanji that pops up on the screen that's bright red. And you're like, okay, some move is coming. Don't know which one it is, but some move is coming. And the thing is with this one character, there's so many other enemies around him that I couldn't just go immediately and fight him over and over and over again to learn what he's doing. I had to kill all of the surrounding guys and then I could fight him. So there's some situations where you don't just have one-on-one time with that mini boss to actually read his full skill set.
Interesting.
Without killing a bunch of enemies before getting to him. So I'm sure you can totally learn everything. You can learn when he's going to sweep and stuff, but
do bosses still have a wall of mist to indicate that you're about to go fight a boss?
There is walls of mist, yeah, where it's like, you can't leave this place. I walked into, I think, what is a boss fight? So there's this, no spoilers, but in the game, there's different types of enemies where some are like celestial, some are like ghosts, some are spooky guys. You have to actually use an item to be able to hit the ghost dudes. So if you end up doing this boss that's a ghost and you have to use this item and you use all of your item, you have to go back and go either buy some or find some to go and fight that boss again.
Wow.
So it feels punishing. I don't know. It feels definitely harder than Bloodborne.
It's
Bloodborne I didn't find.
Very different sounding.
It is different. But yeah, it's literally Tenchu mixed with Bloodborne, Dark Souls.
I wonder if they're ever going to make a Bloodborne 2.
I hope so.
Bloodborne was so good.
Yeah.
That world was amazing too.
Bloodborne 2
creepy.
on like next gen hardware that runs at 60 FPS, please.
I'll take a solid 30. I get ran at like 15.
on launch. Oh God, it was
that game was awful at launch.
Oh, the load times on launch, yeah.
Oh, you could go to the store and have a sandwich artist make you a sandwich and come back and it'd still be on the loading screen.
It's pretty bad.
Remember when Skyrim got like that? After you played for a long time, Skyrim became
too many mods loaded.
I remember hearing about that.
Really?
Yeah.
Well,
it's time
to talk about Destiny, guys, right?
Destiny!
We're running out of time. I think,
Briar,
why don't we wrap this one up?
Patrick, lead us with Destiny.
By the way, who uploads the podcast? Briar, is that you?
Yeah.
Legitimately, you might want to put something in the pin a comment that says, "Hey, Destiny talk happens at this time in the podcast," because someone always does it, and there's going to be people going, "Oh, I don't like changing new things. It's happening at like an hour in." Rabble. Okay. Anyway, let's see. Stuff that happened last week, because every single week we have stuff that we have to talk about. The trials. Or not trials, the
Tier 3, right?
The thing of the 9.
Oh, yeah. Invitation of the 9?
Invitation of the 9, yeah.
Invitation of the 9, I believe this is the exotic, quote-unquote exotic bounty that we saw way back when, and it got reworked into like this. What do you guys think of it? That have done it?
There was a freaking cutscene.
There was.
That was cool.
We found. Yeah. Hey, Briar, you know how you're complaining there's no cutscenes?
I wasn't complaining that.
You did.
I was complaining there was no cutscene to start the whole adventure off.
Yeah.
You start this adventure, but you have no context as to why.
There we go. We found out why.
After 20 or 30 hours, you get a cutscene.
Yes. We found out why. And we got no spoilers here. Go do the Invitation of the 9 quest. Do we know that if you miss a week, yeah, there's going to be a different one that comes up this week. We don't know if
well, there's not a new cutscene every week. There's a new a little story bit, kind of like
a story bit. Sometimes a cutscene, sometimes it's like an in-world thing. Like
a lore bit type of thing.
Yeah,
something like that
every week.
Yeah. So yeah, if you miss it, try not to. It's going to be really awkward when we're in Japan. What?
I could do it on PC.
Yeah.
Take my laptop.
There you go.
Okay. We could even go to a PC cafe.
Oh, hell yeah.
You can even just watch a YouTube video of the cutscene.
No, I need it on my
No, I want the powerful words, and I want
So we can't talk about the cutscene? You don't want any spoilers on that? I mean, that was basically the mission, though.
More or less. You go run a strike.
I think we should talk about it, because if you didn't play it, you missed it. So you might as well talk about it.
Yeah, you're right. All right. Well, yeah, we got to see the Drifter and the Emissary of the 9 talking. We got to see a shadow of Yor, or Dredgen, dude.
Shin. Dredgen your Malford something.
Dredgen Malford.
We got to see an evil dude that was holding Thorn. And then Drifter fucking hacked, summoned a tier 2 fucking blocker mob with a single moat, and that thing messed up that Shadow Yor.
Which, I mean, guy's apparently not that good, right? Got taken out by those.
Dude wasn't. Yeah.
I mean, it was a taken captain, to be fair.
That is.
So you're not allowed taking captains in my day.
Yeah, but we're like the best of the best. Captains blind you. They're very spooky boys.
Yeah, yeah, they're spooky. He disappears, then the emissary shows up, right?
Yeah, we basically know how the Drifter got that giant thing that he's towing behind his ship now.
The giant sack.
His balls.
Ball sack.
Yeah. Okay.
Ball sack.
Drifter acquired the ball sack via a gift from the emissary of the 9.
A gift of the 9.
Yes.
He gifted her ball sack?
Yeah, that's what happened. It was like they were playing cards. It went, south, did some bad stuff, and the emissary, I believe, shows up and then was like, we got a gift for you. And all of a sudden the ship is like, whoa, what'd you give me? And they're like, you'll see. And it was the sack.
You got a rear view on this thing?
Hooked him up with the ball sack with all them goodies. And that's what we're going in now with the reckoning stuff.
Every time.
Every time?
Every time. Just every time. Anyway, yeah. So, and then you get like a powerful reward at the end of it. There you go. So basically, that's what we have to look forward to every single week from that type of quest. Go pick it up from Xur, and then you get a powerful, get some lore. We get story expansion. It's definitely keeping me engaged. I'm hoping that like what?
Nothing. I'm just laughing. That's all.
Okay.
The comment section is pretty good right
now.
It's this. Destiny is the game of the balls. That's all.
Yeah, it's the universe of balls.
They love some balls.
A benevolent ball comes in, spreads more balls. Then emissary of the balls comes in. It's like.
And then Drifter has a personal ball.
We're chucking balls and forges. We're forging balls. Everything. Yeah.
Yep. Arc balls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah, I like finding out more about the 9. It's cool. Makes me happy. I like that this isn't just a piece of lore that we're reading. It's a lore that we are experiencing to find out more about the 9 and the Drifter's relationship with that. So I like that a lot. I like that they're doing it like that. I'm actually really happy about that.
Yeah, there was quite a bit that was revealed too with this stuff that goes way deeper and talks about potential sources of the 9. I'm not going to go into that because I'm going to get super confused and confuse other people and give misinformation. And also, it needs to play out over the next 9 weeks to really have the full picture of the 9.
We need 9 weeks.
Yeah, we've only seen one surface of the ball. We've
only seen
how many balls they got.
I'm assuming 9. So we need the full circumference of all 9.
9 balls.
It sounds like a medical condition.
That's tragic.
Shit's getting crowded.
It's crowded, exactly.
In the TWAB there was an interesting stat.
Oh yes, please explain about the normies.
Yeah, we had the Allegiance quest last week, and we were all like, "Oh yeah, Watts and I were, we're choosing Vanguard because we're
cool."
Yeah, and then 75% of basically 75% of the community went with
75%, guys.
2/3. Yeah. Nice.
You guys telling me that they're not normies?
Saying obviously there was a correct answer and a not correct answer.
No, there is a answer for boring people and an answer for cool people.
Yeah, and the Vanguard is the one for boring people.
It does sound like it.
No.
Spin that narrative how you want.
To be an edgy,
but Zabala's on one side of the coin and Dredgen is on the other.
We also had Tier 3 launch last week, I think. Was that last week?
Yes. On Friday?
Yes.
I didn't play it. I haven't been high in the flight level because I've been playing Division. But I've been kept keeping with some light level gains here and there to get ready for it.
Well, I mean, did you play Tier 2?
Yeah. We talked about that last week.
Okay. Then it's basically the same thing. There's a new boss fight at the end.
A new area?
Was it the image of
you know that giant upside down triangle thing that you see at the end of the bridge?
Yes.
Yeah.
That opens up, and then there's a likeness of Oryx that you fight, and he like teleports around, summons ogres, does the light drain mechanic thing that Oryx did in the in like the old Taken King story mission. Yeah.
So it's
also
the shade of Oryx. It's not like big boy Oryx.
It looks like the shade of
big boy Oryx,
but it's called the likeness of Oryx, whatever.
Man, it would have been so cool if Oryx popped up all like
just this big head.
I'm back, bitches.
Would be cool.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Also, be very scary if the Drifter could summon big boy Oryx.
Once again, another reason to go with the Drifter.
No.
And you can farm weapons.
You're not gonna go with the most popular option.
I did.
I don't believe it. I don't believe it.
I did, because again, the Drifter's good times. You know, who do you want to go out drinking with? Zavala? No.
Ikora.
Drifter is going to get into some trouble. That is going to be awesome. You're going to have stories. You're going to be able to tell people. Not everybody, because some of it's going to be, a little shady.
Everyone wants to be a bad boy till they go partying with the Drifter and he gets you into trouble.
Ikora is who I want backing me up in a bar fight. True. Not who I actually want to go drinking with. Drifter.
I bet she's great fun when she's drunk.
Probably will not be good backup in a bar fight.
No, he will leave.
But definitely who I want to go drinking with.
Yeah.
He will leave.
Be out of there.
This
Drifter's got my. Where'd he go?
You can get
what else we got left of Season of the Drifter?
Wait, hold up. I want to know more about tier 3. So you kill the shade of Oryx, and you can now get the hand cannon from that, right?
You can get the hand cannon from tier 2 as well.
It's linked to the boss, right? Not the.
Is there a higher chance?
I believe it's just you can get tier 3, because I think one of Cece-kun's friends got the hand cannon this week as well. So it's not linked to the boss; it's just linked to the game mode or something like that. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but you can get weapons. You can get weapons from like tier 2 and tier 3. Yeah.
Isn't tier 3 going to give a higher chance though? I mean, what would be?
Yeah, definitely. Right? No, tier 3 is definitely a higher chance. And that's actually something that Bungie's commented on. They are looking into the drop rates of the weapons, because people have said it's like, holy shit, we've run like 20 to 30 times and not gotten a single thing. So they are looking at the drop rates of the weapons. Hopefully we can they can get those.
That's weird.
More consistent.
Drop rates being bugged in Destiny? I don't know. Doesn't add up.
Kind of a normal
Bungie
thing.
thought people said they wanted to grind, have a little bit of grind. And then people were like, you know what, Bungie? No. I don't want to grind.
I want it right
now.
I
want it now. I changed my mind.
The Drifter,
at the same time,
Drifter got his ball sack immediately. I want it right now as well. Hook it up to my ship in the back.
At the same time, the activity, it's kind of deceptive where, yeah, it's not really terribly difficult, but if you slack off like during the bridge section, you're gonna wipe and you're gonna have to start over again. That's very easy to do, even with a pretty skilled group. It can just happen sometimes.
Even at 700, 700 light. Even at 700 light.
Yeah, like even doing tier 3, we were running with we did a 2 Warlock 2 Titan group, so no well. And yeah, there were 2 times on the bridge where like we got booped off the side and we couldn't get reses off, just stuff like that would happen. And it's like, okay, well, you gotta start over.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I definitely think I don't know, upping the weapon drops I think couldn't hurt, because the weapon pool is so large from there. Like getting a weapon, 1 every 3 runs. I mean, you get a weapon, every 4 run, basically. But you do also determine which weapon you get, whatever. Upping the drop rates just a hair would be nice.
Yeah, no, I agree.
And the perk pools on those weapons are huge.
Fair to call out the community either, because the community did want more grind, but the way the grind works now is just like emptiness between rewards. Like there's no like small drops, or like stuff you're kind of looking forward to. Like right now, it's super binary. It's like, is this a drop or not? And like you go like hours and hours between drops.
What do you mean?
If you're looking for one of these hand cannons, right, or you're looking for one of the new weapons, you got to just run this over and over again. It can be hours between getting one of them. And if that's the only loot in the game that you don't have, I mean, it's super binary. It's like there's doesn't matter how many blues or purples drop if they're not the new stuff. It just doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's so little new stuff that it's hard to make that like a constant drop rate kind of thing, because you'd just be done with the new content immediately. But the way it feels now is it's like you play, and then you get a drop every once in a while.
Yeah.
Someone asked like, what else do we have left in the season?
Yeah, we got another Gambit Prime map, Emerald Coast on March 26th.
I believe that's the same one that you already have played for normal Gambit.
Just for Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just for Prime. Like the Legion's Folly map is just it's the same one that you played for normal Gambit, but now it's in Gambit Prime. And it played okay.
Yeah.
I definitely noticed that like that. I think that map worked because of just the overall layout. I'm interested to know how Emerald Coast is going to work, because there's a lot of just kind of crazy or there's a lot of like just stuff on the boss platform. So I don't know how like DPS is going to work and stuff for a boss phase during that.
It's going to be interesting.
Mm-hmm.
On April 2nd, we get all the maps available, plus private matches for Gambit Prime and new Arcadia and Deep Six.
Okay. Yeah. New Arcadia was one of the other maps that we already got. So
and Deep Six was too. Okay, I see what that.
Yeah. So basically, I think it's going to be rotating maps.
Seems like
them to do that though.
That's a bad idea.
I want them. I like the. I'm totally fine with the idea of them bringing them out slowly, like week by week, so you can get used to playing them. But then I just want them all out.
Yeah.
I just want to play all of them.
Yeah.
You don't think really they're just going to be in a rotation? Like they're not going to be all in like a pool, and you just randomly pull a map out when you start a match?
Freaking hope so.
I mean, I honestly hope that we get all the maps in the rotation like at once, because there are going to be weeks where it's like, oh, it's this map, I don't want to play it. I'm just not going to.
Why would they do it the other way?
Maybe for the opposite reason. Oh, it's this map, I really fucking love this map, I'm just going to play the shit out of it this week.
On April 9th, we get Arc Week, which is free to all players.
I don't know what that is.
We know nothing other than it's got the Arc symbol on it. It's free to all players, and hey,
I think it's going to be the floor everywhere is electrified. No matter where you are, it's always electrified.
Even in the tower.
Yeah.
What if it's like arc burn on every activity? Just like
Crucible?
Yeah, it's like if you do arc damage, it's increased. So basically, it's going to turn into if it was that, it would turn into Week of the Risk Runner in PvP, where you just.
You think that would go to PvP as well?
Fuck it, man.
Just do it.
At this point, you might as well, honestly.
Right?
I don't know. I'm interested to know what Arc Week is.
Still think it's the floor is electric idea.
You make a strong case, Briar.
Mm-hmm.
April 16th through May 8th, 6th, 8th,
6th.
The Revelry, free to all players. So the Revelry is going to be a new, kind of seasonal event.
What was it again? April 6th?
April 16th
my bad.
to May 6th.
Okay. Cool.
Yep. So those are the major things that are left on the timeline for it. So we've basically seen the majority of the content, aside from like two. We have
the event. I mean, I don't know what that's going to be. Yeah. I'm excited to see what that's going to be.
Mm-hmm. I've since the dawning, I've been excited to see what new events they do.
Yeah, same.
Because that was a lot of fun.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Iron Banner is coming next week as well. Iron Banner and Double Valor. So if you need to get your resets in for a Regis Claymore, Double Valor week should be nice. They are changing up some stuff with Iron Banner. It's not just say, hey, here's the new armor, here's the weapons you can go for. they have actually made some kind of changes towards what you can do. They have like the Iron Burden. It's a consumable that you can pick up from, I believe, Saladin.
Is that what it is? I didn't read that bit.
Yeah, the Iron Burden consumable is for the best of the best, challenging themselves by lowering their power by 100, putting more focus on skill, strategy, and gunplay. With greater risk comes greater reward. For the brave, Saladin will be offering this consumable for purchase with 5 Iron Banner tokens. There will be new triumph you can complete by defeating 500 opponents. With this buff active, completing it will reward you with an updated version of the Wizened Rebuke that's fully masterwork and has a curated role. You don't have to complete this during the first event, though. Your progress will carry over to the next Iron Banner.
I really like that fusion rifle, but I think that's largely because it came with backup mag, backup plan. It came with backup plan just on it.
We don't know what the
not
curated
unless it's been data mined. But that's why I loved it. I like it. It's always been, I don't know, that the Wizened Rebuke just always felt really good.
I'm trying to see if there's like a curated role. Not curated roles currently drop in game. Okay, so Light.gg has a curated role, and I think it's one with Demolitionist, where it kills the weapon, generate grenade energy, activating your grenade reloads the weapon from reserves, and then it has moving target, enhanced battery, and
so no backup.
Doesn't look like it.
But I want backup plan. That's so good on fusion rifles. If it was backup plan like Rampage or something, or
jeez,
that sounds good.
So yeah,
log into Iron Banner if that was the reward.
That's going to be a thing you can do. And in addition to that, there's also another buff that you can get called the Wolf's Favor. For those who find yourself in PvE activities more frequently, the Wolf's Favor consumable has been added to try your hand at Iron Banner. And it's just a consumable which will drop with limited availability. It will grant you a temporary 100 power increase up to a cap of 700 for 30 minutes.
Oh, that's
Is that only active in Iron Banner?
Yes.
Where does it say that?
I assume it would only be active in Iron Banner. That would be really weird to have it active in other areas.
It'd be awesome if it was active in other areas. If you're having trouble like getting through an area and you could pop one of these Wolf's Favor things, give yourself a hand.
Doing the Nightfall.
You get 30 minutes with it?
Nightfall,
yeah.
Nightfall 100K.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, or if you get a buddy who's a little bit lower light, but he still wants to play with you guys, go get a Wolf's Favor, man.
Wolf's Favor consumable has a chance to drop from completing the following daily and weekly challenges. Daily Heroic Story Missions, Vanguard Strikes, Nightfall, Flashpoints, Gambit, Forsaken only, weekly milestones from Ikora and Hawthorne. So you got a multitude of places, PvE related, to get this consumable buff thing that you can use to go into Iron Banner super powered if you are lower power level. I don't know. It feels odd to me, I guess.
Yeah, me too, honestly.
If you're mainly a PvE player, you're probably already going to be like higher, right?
Yeah.
Just because you have more access to powerful drops than a pure PvP player.
Also,
to me, it seems like they're trying to open it up to people who just aren't, high level. They're like, hey, if you're not quite high enough level, don't be too afraid. You can jump in here with one of these 100-point buffs.
But at the same time, somebody who's, say, mostly PvP can easily just do some PvE stuff and then not have to worry about the light level requirements or the light level challenge of Iron Banner for 30 minutes. It's a little weird.
Yeah. Depending on how often these drop, and from all the locations you can get it from, I'm going to guess it drops relatively frequently.
I would hope
stack these things up.
Yeah.
It would be super frustrating if like, you clear through all your milestones and it's like, I didn't get one. Great. Awesome.
Yeah, that would suck.
Yeah. Hopefully it has a really high chance to drop. Bounties will reward powerful gear as always. Apparently they've retuned some of the bounties as well from the previous season. So hopefully like the orb generation ones aren't as mind-bogglingly difficult to complete. Saladin will offer a new emblem that you can pick up after completing the weekly bounties called the Weight of Guilt, and it will track the high power opponents defeated while under the effects of the Iron Burden. So
can we talk about the course?
Slasher EP'd around a little bit.
Yes, I'm trying to get through everything before the real thing that we want to talk about today, which is the masterwork cores.
Oh, here we go. Well, when did this become a thing that the community just decided they're going to be super mad about?
Probably when it was introduced in Forsaken.
No, but like the past week, people have been like,
well, I mean,
I think a month.
I think it really surfaced when Season of the Forge dropped, and they're like people felt the issue with like your masterwork cores and infusion, and we kind of assumed that it would get adjusted at some point, and now obviously with what they've said, it's kind of like, oh, your data says it's fine. I think that's why it's more and more caustic feeling about this, because as players, we're like, yo, I feel like I can't use my cores because I'm going to run out so quick. But Bungie is saying, well, our data is saying that it's actually not that bad. People still have like a bunch of cores on them at any given time.
I didn't actually read this part, so if you want to read like the core part.
All right. Strengthen your core section. As you make progress in Season of the Drifter, you'll be making choices about which weapons and armor you want to power up first. We've been following the conversation around the use of enhancement cores for infusion. As a response, the Destiny dev team have some changes lined up that they want to share. Destiny dev team, the goal of infusion system is to create an impactful feeling of progression when you increase the power of an item you enjoy using. An infusion system with no scarcity around the materials would diminish this impact. To that end, we tapped into a material with inherent scarceness, enhancement cores, to use one of the keystone materials for this process. So TLDR, they wanted to make infusion more meaningful, use a material that's rare. Now it's more meaningful. That is the goal of the infusion system, but if the overall system is causing a negative experience, we want to improve it. We're constantly monitoring the infusion economy to see what kind of impact it has on gear usage. We keep a close eye on the amount of infusion materials being earned versus how many are being used, and we'll continue to make adjustments as needed. To that end, we'll be making a change in Season of Opulence with the goal of providing more access to enhancement cores. Scrapper bounties previously dropped randomly when dismantling gear. There was no reliable way to earn enhancement cores using these bounties, and we didn't feel that they were providing enough materials. We will be depreciating these bounties at the start of Season 7, so they're going away.
I've never gotten a scrapper bounty.
What?
Never had one drop.
You don't dismantle gear, that's why. Your vault's always fucking full.
Not true. I do dismantle gear.
Okay, well, you don't do it enough. In their place, the gunsmith will now offer a selection of daily and weekly bounties that can be purchased for gunsmith materials. As with the scrapper bounties, each of these will include, among other things, an enhancement core as rewarded when completed. Our hope is that this increased access and control over enhancement core acquisition will help improve the balance of materials being earned versus materials being used. As always, we'll be continually monitoring the item economy along with your feedback and to assess its effectiveness. So, all right. To me, it seems like they are very keenly aware that people who are actually infusing items are spending more than they are able to earn. I don't know. Like, I feel like this solution of, hey, we're putting in gunsmith bounties isn't really an adequate one, because right now we have a massive amount of things to do. I know, shocking, complaining about things to do, but it's more of the upkeep of trying to do a shit ton of bounties, a shit ton of milestones and everything, piling on another reward layer that you're going to have to keep track of on top of like people that have, say, a tab of quests that are completely full already is a little bit aggravating. I don't know. I feel like players don't like the system. Players don't like using those cores. You just take them out. Like it's such a simple change.
Yeah. It's good experiment. It didn't work out. Let's kill it.
Just make it for masterworking. That's fine. Just if you want to masterwork a weapon or your armor, there you go. But like infusing,
I know there's a lot of people out there like, oh, I have 100 enhancement cores. I have 200. I have, shit tons because I'm just putting on the armor that I get. That's awesome. I don't like doing that because I have been building up my character and I have a build and playstyle that I enjoy playing the game with. And if I have to take my armor off that I spent the past 3 months making a good armor build set so I can gear up for 2 to 3 weeks, and then I can infuse it once I've gotten to 700. No, I don't want to do that because I'm not going to actually enjoy playing the game. I'm just going to be taking off the gear, the stuff that actually has a lot of meaning in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too. Like, I feel like that's what Bungie wants people to do who are worried about cores, is not equip your armor that you actually care about or weapons that you care about while you're leveling until you get to max level, and then infuse things with the cores. And I agree. I think it shortens or cheapens or just doesn't feel fun with being able to use what you want in that process.
Creates an inventory space issue too, because you're always like holding on to stuff that it's just a pain in the ass.
Yeah, no, it's I don't know. There's
also I feel like I have to like keep them as super precious. So when I think about infusing something, I'm like, oh, don't want to spend the cores, and I'm like, no, not really. I don't want to spend the cores, but this has heavy ammo finder on it, and I really need that because the game can shaft you really hard in ammo drops. I'm like, so I try to keep it at 100 cores because I have this like this mentality, this poverty mentality of my cores. I don't want to drop below a certain amount to feel like I can't, in case the masterwork something. Yeah.
No, I'm in like the same boat. If I need to fully masterwork a loadout, it's like, well, shit, that's going to take like 50 cores to do that. Okay, I don't want to spend all of it. Like I'm down to about 20 something cores right now, having started the season with 100, and I've been trying to earn them as quickly as possible, basically, to kind of fund me using it. I don't know. This goes beyond just enhancement cores too. Like, I think people are really tired about leveling and the infusion system.
I've heard that a lot. Yeah.
Like, people are saying, I don't want to level. And that's not necessarily saying, oh, I don't have a reason to level. Like, I totally get that. But having a system that feels like it punishes you the way this one does, it creates this, God damn it, I can't think of words right now. You get exhausted from having to do it so much. And we already had to do it a bunch when Forsaken launched. We had to do it.
I bet David Cotton is exhausted right now.
Huh?
I bet David Cotton is exhausted right now.
Yeah, I know, David. But you can make it, dude. You got this shit. Okay? Bring me the horizon.
Sorry,
So, like, people are exhausted from using this system. And I'm not worried about this season. What I'm worried about is, like, next season. When, we know that there's going to be a raid coming. And there's going to be another 6-player activity. And my worry is that players are going to be fucking burnt out to the point that it's like, I'm dropping the game because I have spent so much time over the past X months leveling up the gear to get to here. I've completed the content now. We don't know what's coming.
Cores, getting them leveled.
We don't know what's coming out after that. So, like, just this type of system to level up your gear is not sustainable with this type of content that they are trying to put out. Like, always having a power level increase on a season, it's just detrimental to player health, I feel like.
It's the same, like, every week you log in and do the exact same activities too, to do the leveling. Like, it has changed zero since Forsaken came out. There's no new strikes, like there's no new Crucible map, so you're literally doing exactly the same stuff over and over again. And for me, I do it in the same order even. I do my daily heroic, I do my strikes, I do the Nightfalls, then I move over to the tab for Crucible, then I move over to the Gambit tab, and then I move over to the Forbidden City tab, for Dreaming City tab. It's literally just the same loop. By the time I get to doing the Blind Well, I'm literally exhausted of it.
Oh, I found that I have to drop doing activities because we're in a really good problem, I feel like, where it's like, hey, there's so much shit to do in the game, even if it is stuff that we've been doing for a long time. Last week was the first week where I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to clear all my milestones, even if I have to, like, still level up and I want to be optimal, I'm just not going to do it because I'm tired of it. I don't know. You can take that as a good or a bad thing.
Yeah.
But
I think it's a valid complaint, honestly. But also on the flip side, it is a complaint of the hardcore player. I feel like I feel like a lot of people, like in Pope's situation, are enjoying this, like just kind of taking their time, slowly climbing power levels, getting to
bullshit. Pope's 700.
Is Pope 700?
Yeah.
I'm not even 700.
Oh yeah, I saw that tweet. He is 700.
I'm not 700.
I'm not 700.
I'm not.
And I've been playing.
I'm 450 gear score in Division 2 though, but yeah.
I'm 700 on 2 characters, and I don't know. My Titan's just like, I'm just gonna get there when I get there on you, man. Like, okay.
Because of that feeling, I decided to just approach my hunter because obviously my warlock is dead to me, and I do like Titans. They're fun, but my hunter's home. It's home place right here in this podcast. Hunters, where hunters live. All right.
It's true.
So I've just taken it as like, well, my hunter will get to 700 at some point over the next month or two and be okay. And also because of the infusement system too. I'm like, if it's going to be like that, then I'm going to take my time with it and not grind my gears against it while I play other stuff at the same time. Like I'm okay with that as a gamer and my playtime in Destiny, because kind of like how we talked about before, I'm kind of predisposed towards the big releases in Destiny, and I get really hyped over that. And then the time gating slow drip of content doesn't really create like weekly excitement as much, you know?
Okay.
But it's okay.
I think with Destiny, I'm kind of approaching it like a lot of casual players do, even though I played a lot. It's like, I don't need to do all of my milestones each week. I do the stuff that I enjoy. And then new stuff like the Allegiance quest or the Invitations of the Nine, that I make sure to get that stuff done. But in terms of leveling, especially in this season, like there's no raid, right? So the only thing you're leveling for is to do tier 3 of the Reckoning. And I found that I was able to do that without doing too much crazy stuff. Like I didn't do raids to get ready for the Reckoning. I didn't do a bunch of like Dreaming City stuff. So I've kind of just been approaching it with, okay, well, which activities do I enjoy? I'll just do those ones.
Mm-hmm.
And then if I feel like I need a little bit more power, then I'll go and do, something else that I don't necessarily enjoy as much. But yeah, I've just approached Destiny in a I don't need to complete everything way.
Same.
And I've been enjoying it like that.
Yep.
I've been doing that too, but I think what's happened is that I've fallen behind, and then I can't do the new stuff when it comes out. Like I couldn't do tier 3 if I wanted to right now, because I haven't been doing the leveling every week because I'm just sick of doing the leveling.
So I'm in the same boat, but I'm okay with that. Like if it's going to take me another week or two to get to that point to do tier 3, it's okay, because again, the loot pool isn't expansive to where you're getting so much new stuff all the time. It's like I'm interested in spare rations for sure, but over now until June, I'm probably going to get one that I'm into, right? That's okay.
Yeah. It has been a busy couple of months for games.
And April's going to be a really busy month too in general for like just releases, like of media in general. There are quite a few games coming out. There are
Game of Thrones is coming out.
Yeah, good.
Avengers Endgame's coming out.
Tell me about it.
Yeah,
right.
movies coming out. There are games. Jesus Christ! All right, and then we're going to be in Japan for most of it too. Awesome.
Yeah, that's fine.
See, if I was going to Japan, I'd probably try to rush 700. For me, if I was in that position, I'd want to rush 700 and try to get a spare rations before that. But
I've been focusing on all the pinnacle weapons. And as of I think yesterday, I got all of them.
Dude, that delirium. Have we actually talked about the delirium yet?
I don't believe so.
I don't think so.
The delirium is amazing. Do you not Holtz? Do you not like it?
I'm in a weird place about it because like, you have to use a bunch of your weapons to like make the perk work. So you can actually you have to use your weapon so you have ammo to pick up. And I found that because I run scavenger perks over reserve perks, picking up ammo usually immediately fills me up off of like 1 or 2 bricks. So I don't get to proc the delirium thing as much as I want to.
Man, okay. So I ran a build of heavy ammo and a machine gun scavenger. Mm-hmm. That was it for the ammo stuff. And so then I would use something like, say, a sniper or Jotun to try to unload ammo quickly. And I mean, even if you pick up heavy ammo, it's doubling that magazine size. And you don't have to have it out or anything like that. Like I think the delirium is amazing. It feels exotic to me. And I love that machine gun. I think it's awesome. If you plan out your battlefield for ammo drops out there, you pull out the delirium. It's like, also, if you put backup mag, you can have 230 in the magazine, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, I use backup mag on it too.
Yeah. So it already comes with like over 100 in the magazine. And then when you pick up ammo of either special or heavy, it automatically bumps that up to the max, which would be 230 with backup mag. And you can just keep on chaining that stack of 3 for kill damage. And on like a heavy weapon week, I mean, it was just murdering, or a day, I should say. It doesn't change weekly. Heavy ammo or a heavy, whatever it's called, the heavy weapon. Heavyweight. There it is. If that's on, I mean, that thing is just like cutting through things. It's incredible.
No, it's really cool. I like it. I'm not completely sold on it either, but at the same time, like I've only used it in like the Reckoning, so I feel like I need to use it in Strikes or other areas.
Using Strikes is fun.
To really use it, because in Reckoning it's like so much about chaining your supers and other stuff that I just didn't really get a chance to use the weapon that much. No, what I've been using is Recluse. Holy shit.
I've heard it's good. I want it.
Have any of you gotten it yet? No, just
no. Not
okay. Yet. You know how we were like, man, SMGs, not really a big fan of them. This one, I'm a big fan of it. The perk itself like when you proc it in PvP, so off any kill.
This is the new competitive pinnacle weapon?
Yeah, the competitive SMG, which is really easy to get. You don't have to do anything crazy. Like get double kills with grenade launchers and triple and kill 3 things in one life. Like it's win 33 comp games or win 100 normal games. It just fills up 1% or 3%. Yep. And then get defabled. That's it. And with the new changes, it's reasonable to get there. Yeah, so the weapon procs off any kill. It can proc off itself, your kinetic, your heavy, whatever. It does not proc off golden gun. Sadly, it's a gun.
That'd be fun.
And it ups the damage in PvP to 25 on a precision and also 25 on a body.
Wow.
So it
really
melts.
good.
But the place where I actually like using it more is PvE, because it gets almost an equivalent buff in PvE. It gets 145% body shot damage in PvE off a kill, and then like a 50% precision damage. So you shred stuff. You shred everything with it. You can, like a Lost Sector boss, if you get a kill, you will one clip the Lost Sector boss.
Wow.
It's nasty. Highly recommend getting it. It's probably one of the best PvE weapons out there right now, which is cool. Odd. Yeah. And then what's the other pinnacle? Oxygen. Anyone got an Oxygen? No.
I'm chipping away at that over the season.
Okay, that's fair. That one is.
Yeah,
I'm not.
That's too bad.
Really?
That's
I was excited for Oxygen.
Yeah.
You get killed, or you get precision hits. It stacks up to 3 times, and the explosion will basically be slightly more than 3 crits in terms of damage. So for the most part, it will one shot any mob that's nearby it that would normally die to 3 crits. Yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, I brute force delirium in 2 days, and I decided to take my time with Oxygen.
How did you do that, by the way? Like
nonstop, you got it so fast.
Nonstop.
You just
didn't lose a game.
Okay, I was getting ready to say, like, it took me 3 weeks to get it, and that was. I think I just did it by clearing all my milestones. So clearing the gambit milestones and then playing a couple more.
I approached it with the idea that people were going to, in basically a week or two, people are going to start getting sets and start getting really comfortable with the whole Prime setup. Mm-hmm. So I assumed that the best time to get that and to do that reset for my Infamy was to knock it out in the first 2 days. And we 4-stacked. Yeah.
Yeah. No, just go run in there and stomp people. If you don't know the game mode, you pretty much generally just going to be able to communicate and win.
And I ran Golden Gun to steal as many Envoy kills as possible.
You know what? Actually, people now have the full perks of the armor. This is the first time that people have had the full perks. And so I was playing with a group where we had someone that had full collector. So we were playing with a group. He was the only one getting stuff, just dunking 20, 20, 20, 20. And then there was maybe someone doing 5, but he was just dunking 20s on everybody. And people found it really hard to deal with that because you dunk 20, someone else does 5, can send an invader through. They can't kill the big giant blocker, and their moats are just draining. And that guy is oppressive. He's basically the Lake of Shadows boss.
Really?
He'll die to like a Nova Bomb, but
yeah,
he's still annoying to deal with. He's got a big shield,
and he tethers you, which is really fun.
And he starts draining moats just by himself.
He does. Yeah, you drop him, and he drains moats.
That's powerful.
Yeah.
It's nasty.
It's good.
You always notice when you're going against like a proper 4-stack in Prime, because usually the first thing that comes down is a big blocker, and you're like, oh.
You're like, oh boy, it's happening.
Yeah, and then the invader comes in, and the invader has the set, and they have like a ridiculous overshield on.
Oh my god, you can't kill them.
Yeah, I noticed. I shot him in the head with a sniper rifle. They didn't die. Another one, I like just railed into him with Thunderlord.
Boy, Tefty, your plan is seeming better and better as we go.
This is exactly what I thought.
Yeah,
this is what I expected.
Yeah, I'm glad I got Delirium now, so now I can be like, and I got my Dredgen title because I reset to get Delirium. So it's like, I'm done. I'm done with Gambit. I can just step back now until something else pulls me back in.
I am looking forward to Penumbra's, Season of Opulence this summer with a new raid. Like I do still get hyped for the raid race, right? It's like that intense, like short session of just like, let's just optimize everything and get as high a light level as we can, and then it's all capped off with a raid run, and that's still fun to me,
Also, the set pieces and the stuff that Bungie puts out when it comes to raids is always exciting. It's
always so
always their best content.
Just kind of an aside back to Sekiro. Just looking at the minimum PC requirements, it's 4 gigabytes of RAM and like a 7-year-old processor. Like this thing will run on anything. It looks like.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really? On minimum specs?
Yeah, like super low. 4 gigs of RAM. I haven't seen 4 gigs of RAM anywhere in a long time.
What about recommended specs?
8 gigs of RAM and a relatively like a processor that's within like 5 or 6 years old.
It's not bad at all.
That's not bad at all. Yeah. I'm sitting over here with 32 gigs, and I'm like, all right, sweet. Twitter.
You guys want to do some Twitter questions?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, let me bring it up. We're gonna start doing Twitter questions, David. So you might want to, spit out that water. You don't want to have any accidents while you're running. You're gonna be really, really good. Protheon says, us Warlocks have been team players since year 1. We use self-res to revive ourselves in raids, storm trends to kill ads, and now we have a well of urine to protect you and give you extra damage. Without us, you wouldn't be able to do anything. So will you stop hating on Warlocks?
No.
Was this directed to me?
Just general.
I think it's probably all of us based on what we have said about Warlocks.
Did he actually call it a well of urine?
Yeah.
Right on, Prothean. All right. All right.
I don't want you to talk about Prothean. I love Warlocks. I've been day 1 Warlock.
Oh, boy.
Miles Gannon says, as someone that could not get even the first reward package in Trials, both D1 and 2, I would not enjoy it coming back as it was. Do you have any suggestions on what could be changed or added to keep lower skilled players like myself invested in it and keep the population higher?
I think that's the problem, right? That's the thing that Bungie's trying to figure out. That's what we're all trying to figure out, is a way to keep everyone engaged. Because if casual players are not engaged with trials, it's going to be a ghost town in like a week.
It's going to be a sweat fest.
It's just going to be sweaty. It's going to be a ghost town.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I feel like the bounty system not good in D1, where you could pick up bounties and you didn't necessarily have to win, but you could get some gear from it? Because I felt
the boons were good.
The boons were good,
and the boons and the bounties were great. I think a lot of people like to just think, hey, let's try it, see how far we can get on a ticket.
That's what I thought. They said that they didn't like it in the way it was in D1. Because I feel like in D2 it was too easy. Like you could just get tokens, get a win, go to the area and just turn in tokens and get stuff.
Yeah. It was too easy to get the actual loot that you cared about.
Yeah.
If you had somebody who did that in your clan, then you just go and pick that shit up and never deal with it at all.
Yep. Oh, Darkest Before from Hawthorne. Wow. Okay. Cool.
I don't know. At some point, you can't keep people in, too. Like, at some point, people just won't enjoy it, and they won't play it, too. Like, you're not going to get me to go play Candy Crush. There's nothing you can do to get me in that ecosystem.
How about some candy?
Yeah.
No.
Some real candy. Crushing real candy.
Snickers bar?
Mm-hmm.
No.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
How about some waffles?
I can get my own.
Bacon, eggs, waffles.
Does sound nice. But,
yeah, warming up, aren't we? Huh?
I'm warming up to it, but I'm hesitant about the infrastructure that would be required to consistently get me bacon, eggs, waffles.
Manifest some waffles, bacon, eggs right in front of you.
Immediately.
What if you have bacon, eggs, and waffles within 5 seconds at any time just by clicking a button, but all you had to do was give all your information to Google?
And a side of Briar.
Hey, what the fuck? Not even related to the question. I don't feel like we're answering this question, but I don't feel like we really know the answer.
I don't know the answer because it's supposed to be a pinnacle like PvP tournament. So if you don't like PvP and you're really bad at PvP, I just don't think something like that's ever going to be for you, right? Like they can't make it so easy to the point where if you are a good player, you have literally everything in the first week of trials, you have no reason to touch it anymore. That wouldn't work either. So if you're really bad to where actually this might be offensive. I don't care. If you were really bad to the point where in D1 you couldn't get 3 wins to complete the bounty to get armor or like one of the weapons for like the packages in D1, I don't know. I just don't know if trials is for you unless you want to go and look for some really good friends to play with.
At some point,
something's not
you have to say without being condescending or like just like you have to get good. And that's I don't know.
I felt like D1 trials had as much casual entrance points as they needed to get a minimum number of casuals to play that game mode while still having an ecosystem of people who are like really intense on trying to help people go to Lighthouse and just pub stomping and all that. Like I feel like they had the formula right with that setup.
I feel they had it, yeah.
And the more they fucked with it, the more they fucked it up.
Yeah.
At the same time, if you keep telling yourself you're not good enough, man, look, that's an attitude of someone who's never gonna fucking. You have to be willing to be like, what? Not say I'm not good enough. You have to be able to ask, why am I not good enough? Why am I not winning? And then you. I
like how this guy asked the question: how would you change trials? And Patrick's like, you need to change yourself.
Fuck yes. Fuck yes.
There's a website that you can go register and pay somebody to get you
your
rewards,
credit card information, and you can better yourself immediately by having someone else play your goddamn account. Please don't do that.
I think what happened to trials is that people just got bored with it, and I think the game mode actually got worse the longer it existed.
The meta got worse because at the end it was stickies and sidearms and icebreaker.
Stickies and sidearm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the matchmaking got worse. That's the game mode itself. I feel like they got the matchmaking right at the beginning of it, and it got steadily worse as the game mode went on.
Well, they did listen to the community at times.
The game mode was originally connection based, period, right?
No. Wait. It was win based.
Right?
Win based.
Win based.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought it was connection based.
I think it was win based and then connection.
Okay.
I think really the only thing they could do is just make weapons be worth it for people to chase after. To where even if you're not the greatest, you see that weapon and you're like, okay, I can gradually work towards getting that weapon. Like maybe they do with pinnacle weapons, maybe there's something that you can do in trials that doesn't necessarily require wins or getting like win streaks at least to where they could work towards something. But it's really hard because like it's a PvP pinnacle activity.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, it's like Holtz is saying, like some people are just not going to want to do it because it's PvP. And also there's even people who are playing PvP are going to be like, well, I'll play Apex or Fortnite.
Yeah.
So it's tough.
It is tough. It's very tough.
Broncos for Life says, what are your thoughts on a PvPVE Battle Royale King of the Hill type mode for Destiny? Instead of being dropped into traditional BR games, you'd start in a location and have to fight your way to the top and hold it against both players and minions of the darkness.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. I'd play that.
I'd play it.
Sounds cool. Patrick's like, no.
No, you don't like that, Patrick?
PvPVE, we'd need a PvP side of that. And do we have that? Doesn't seem like we have that.
Oh, he's asking for something new.
I know, but that would require.
I know it's weird.
Yeah,
something new.
No, I'm trying. I'm just being a dick saying we don't even get PvP updates. How the fuck are we going to get a PvPVE update?
Yeah, PvP is a bit of a.
If they made it, I'd play it, Broncos.
Yeah.
What's more important? I'm sorry. Zachary K says, "What's more important for you in D2? New activities and quest lines, or all new loot?"
Did you say
if you could choose?
Did you say actiontivities?
Yeah, actiontivities. That's my new word.
I like
it. New activities and quest lines, or all new loot. If you could choose which one Bungie focuses on more in upcoming DLCs, which would you choose?
Loot. I would gladly do the stuff that we're doing. If I had like all new Dreaming City armor to get, a Blindwell armor to get, all new weapons. If there was new loot, I would do the stuff that I'm doing. Because the stuff that we have isn't bad. Yep. It's just we've done it so much and there's nothing to get from it.
Yeah. Yeah. Like there's the missions, the quests, the heroic stuff, like all that could reward new loot. And I would go and do all the stuff in the game for new loot that is obtainable. But it's not. And so when an engram drops right now, I just do not care what is in that engram. Because I've literally seen everything.
Unless it's an exotic.
Yeah. Even exotics at this point.
Yeah. Mighty Hornet says, love the show. Do you think Bungie will ever address the recoil and bloom issues for non-180 hand cannons on console? As it stands, it feels like trying to run the Last Word, Ace, or Thorn in comp puts you at a disadvantage against Luna and NF, even Service Revolver. Hashtag commas, people.
Commas. For the love of God. Commas, man.
It makes it so much easier to read these long sentences. Commas.
It's true. I believe it.
I would hope we could get some sort of like action on it, because I think another thing the community's been very apparently very forward on is their distaste for bloom and just general hand cannon inaccuracy. And if you want to know why 180s get used, it's not really because of like, oh, they're better. Well, yes, they are. It's because they don't have bloom and they have a really good aim assist. So they're just going to be consistent as shit. So
I'm going to go with no. It's been a year and a half. Like if they were going to do something, they would have done it.
Yeah.
It's been a year and a half.
To be fair, we said that back in D1, and then they were like, hey, fuck it. There's no bloom. Initial accuracy is where it originally was. Okay. There. So it's entirely possible, but
Be My Minion says, guys, as a casual 4 to 6 hour per week gamer, I just can't get it up for Destiny anymore. I don't feel like I'm getting as much out of my relationship as I have put in. Anyone else having Destiny dysfunction problems?
I'd say
I just like the way he made that.
That was great. I like that.
It's the time of the year, honestly. This is generally what happens around the Destiny schedule.
Yeah.
At least there is things to do if you are interested in anything. Like
this is probably the best a Destiny dry season's ever been.
Yeah, 100%.
It's not that dry, comparatively.
Yeah.
At the same time, it is. I don't know that it's something that we had been talking about where, hey, the game did a lot to support the people that want to just fucking play it as their only game, put 40 hours a week into it, and the type of gamer that can only play to 4 to 6 hours a week. That type of player is going to be really disheartened by all the changes and basically the style of content that's being put out. So
yeah, I mean, I enjoy Destiny personally. It's I think people are getting burnt out. My guess would be it's the having to get a bunch of new power every time something comes out, and you're doing the same thing to get that power. So I feel like one thing maybe has to give a little bit. Like you either don't have to get as much power, or there needs to be new things or new loot for people to get doing the things that they've been doing.
Yep.
But when you are getting the same loot in the world, you're doing the same thing, and you're having to grind this power level to do all of the new stuff, I think it just makes people feel a little bit burnt out. Because yeah, like I said, they were like, we're gonna make Destiny be the game where you just have to play all the time, seeing as that's what you guys wanted, and then now it's gone too far. In typical Bungie fashion, it's swung too far.
Yeah.
In the other way.
Yeah, I miss stuff like the weekly vendor updates and like stuff like that. Like that was fun. It was exciting to log in and look for the new stuff that was going to happen every week. Yeah. And I don't know. It just doesn't feel like there's that anymore.
I feel like it still comes down to how much of your time is valued type of equation, because like it's okay to have things that are grindy, obviously, and it's okay to have these shortcuts so people get like the engrams to go up to 640 immediately. Like that's not the complaint. The complaint is that the stuff and the pathway to get to max level right now is going through 90% of the same stuff that we've already been through since Forsaken, and that gets boring. We'd like other things, other loot. I would love to have more loot and more stuff that drops that isn't the same that I've seen for the past 6 months.
This happened to me in Destiny 1 though too. I remember doing so many strikes getting ready for Oryx that I don't think I ran a strike for an entire year.
Yeah, I remember you hating on strikes for a while.
Yeah.
You were burnt out on it.
I did not want to do another strike forever. Anthony says, Day One PD listener, I love you all, never change. I didn't get the season pass based on pre-release info. I have kids and a demanding job, so little time these days. Feel they were quite clear what this was going to be, so I'm surprised people are expecting more. Thoughts? Here's my thoughts on this. Destiny changes on a yearly basis as to who it's targeting as a customer, and it throws people off.
Yeah,
like it just does. Like the people who Destiny was targeting last year are not the same people they're targeting this year. And if you enjoyed Destiny 2 year 1, then Destiny 2 year 2 is very different and may not be for you anymore.
True.
Like it's really weird how they do that. They're always trying to hit different segments of the market, and sometimes it leaves segments they previously targeted behind.
It's true. Yeah. We've done that a few times.
Yep. I mean, there's a whole Trials segment that got left behind. Like Trials is a great example of that, of how they just decided that they're moving on from that segment, at least for now.
Yeah.
Doughboy says we need gun game in Destiny.
It would be so good. Like legitimately, Destiny gun game would be so good. Yeah. Just going through all the different exotic weapons, people who don't have them can have a little taste of them. Yeah, it would be so good. It would be so good.
It'd be good in PvP, and it'd also be good in PvE. I could see him making.
Oh my god, that would be amazing.
PvE for it too.
So I hear you on gun game, and yes, I do agree. But I'm still hung up on this idea of a rogue like Destiny, where you start out all with white items. You pop the first chest on level 1 of the dungeon, and you, oh my god, I pulled a thorn. I'm set for this run. You got thorn. Run down the hallway, get a couple purples, you get a couple blues, and like you keep going through in like the dungeons until you die.
I'm in.
Yes,
sold.
I mean, yeah,
I'll play that.
That would be amazing.
Dead Cell Destiny. Dead.
You pop a delirium on the 3rd dungeon. I want this game, man.
Somebody should just make that. I mean, you don't even have to be Destiny to make that. Somebody should just make that game.
Yeah, but in the Destiny universe, like you see an orb on the ground and it's a super, you pull it. Oh, I got a golden gun. This is great. Yeah.
Gare Bear says, what would you prefer to see? A Destiny anime / cartoon, a live action movie, a TV series, or a Broadway musical?
An anime.
Broadway musical.
Broadway.
Let's go.
Definitely Broadway.
Definitely
musical.
Broadway musical.
Yeah, I want to see Zavala dance. I bet he's got some.
I want to be moved so emotionally that I cry over a Destiny musical.
Yeah.
It better happen.
Absolutely.
I'll be disappointed.
No, it's not even like it's not even close.
Anime. No, you want an anime.
I want to hear what like Oryx's singing voice sounds like. I want to know what the fanatic sounds.
Watts, what if we could get both? What if we could get a musical anime?
I'm in.
Okay.
What about a live action musical anime?
That doesn't
All right, I'm back. Gabriel Quillo says, thoughts on Google's new gaming platform? Seems we talked about it.
Go to 41 minutes into the podcast.
Ringo the Dingo says, I somehow missed out on Borderlands until now. Should I get hyped for Borderlands 3? Why should I want to play it?
Do you like loot?
Yes.
You should
You like
play.
cool guns.
You like cool guns. You like fantasy sci-fi.
Honestly, I'd go back and play Borderlands 2, Ringo, and just check it out. I mean,
two.
It can't be more than
just 2.
Yeah, just 2.
Just 2.
Yeah, don't do 1 or the pre-sequel.
Read up on the first one. Read up the story.
Borderlands 1 wasn't bad.
It's bad.
It was a good game.
It's an
I'm
acquired
playing
taste.
through it right now, Briar. It did not age well.
It's an acquired taste. It is, yeah.
Are you playing on PC or with a controller?
Yes, I'm playing on PC.
Huh. Really? It's that bad?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, I mean, Borderlands 2 is still good, though. Like it is. And it's aged well.
Mm-hmm.
It still looks pretty good. And it's fun.
Yeah, if you can play with NVIDIA physics on full with like, so when you shoot a acid gun, a corrosive ability, then like you see all the stuff on the pool or a pool of corrosive water in BL2. It's really cool.
Dan is Alive says, instead of Hunters versus Titans, I will say I never enjoyed Borderlands on consoles. I never thought their shooting never felt good to me with a controller.
I have to use a controller when playing on PC because the lowest sensitivity setting for Borderlands 1 still sends my mouse just fucking flying everywhere.
Could you drop your DPI to 100?
I'm not going to ever adjust my DPI setting. I refuse.
Wow.
Because I'm going to forget.
Adjust it back.
That's some stubborn shit.
There's
literally like a button on the top of the mouse.
Yeah.
No. That's
go into the program.
I'm going to forget where it is. I'm going to
make a new profile.
It's why I refuse to move my chair from where it is. Okay. If I move my chair like an inch to the left, then when I sit back down in it, my aim's going to be off and I'm not going to fucking know why. So if I adjust my DPI, I'm going to forget about it. I'm not going to know what it was on originally. And then I'm not going to be able to like fucking aim right. I'm going to relearn everything again.
If I ever see your car, I'm totally moving your seat. I'm going to mess with all your settings. Dan is Alive says, instead of Hunters, yes, play Borderlands 3. Dan is Alive says, instead of Hunters v Titans v Warlocks, what about picking one element in Destiny to use forever, but it includes all 3 classes or subclasses of that element?
Solar.
Void.
Void. I'd go Void too.
What is it again? Pick a element for...
Yeah, instead of picking a class, pick an element, and then you get all the subclasses in that element.
Oh, wow.
I mean, Void is my favorite Warlock. I think it's my favorite Hunter. I think it's my favorite Titan too.
Damn. I think I'd have to go solar.
Yeah?
Yeah. Think about it. You got hammers, you got a devil sword, you got urinal radiance, you got golden gun.
I like having that guy around.
You got blade barrage.
I don't actually like being that guy, though.
I know, but it's an option. It's always like, well, I could.
like that guy being my friend, but not me.
True. I hear you.
I'm glad you made that choice, Taffy. That way I don't have to.
It was for the golden gun, man. Come on. I'm not actually picking that one.
Shoulder charge. Honestly, it's for the solar shoulder charge because you control people so well with it.
Yep.
Bryce Huffman says you're allowed to instantly implement one aspect of another game you love into Destiny. What is it? One aspect of another game into Destiny.
Did we answer like a question like this before?
How about
we've answered a lot of questions.
We have, but how about like in Sekiro, when you die in Destiny, you lose half your loot and your abilities.
That completely changes the game.
You dick.
Die too many times. Actually, resurrect too many times like a filthy warlock, and you kill all your NPCs. You gonna kill Zavala
kill your clan
and Ikora?
Are dedicated servers a game mechanic?
Yes.
I like Holtz's answer.
All right. Bryce Huffman says, my bad. Marcus Bushna says, hey, DCP. So I'm new to streaming. I know lots of you stream. And even if I plan to stream on Mixer, would any of you have any advice that you think would be relevant despite different streaming platforms?
Consistency on your timing, because if people show up at a certain time and you're consistent, then they know they can find you at that time. Pace yourself as well. Don't burn yourself out. You think 24-hour streams are going to grow you big time, but in reality might kill you. So that's a bad idea.
Yep.
Better to be consistent with a regular schedule than to burn yourself out. I know the paradigm is shifting a little bit from always being on to kind of maximizing the time that you're on. So,
I agree.
Yeah. Like if you're going to spend 2, 4, 6 hours on stream, make sure you're rested and you're up for that and interactive and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
Yeah. As an example, like when Andy was visiting, I wanted to stream like during the day because it was easier for us to work and just like, go out to go dinner, go to a movie and stuff like later at night. So like when I would stream during the early part of the day, like noon to 5 p.m., my viewership was significantly less than it was when I would normally stream in like the 6 p.m. to midnight or 6 p.m. to, 2 a.m. bracket. Like, so it was like 50% less than what it normally was. And that's just because like my audience is primarily during that time. So whenever you have built up, or like what you want to do is just be consistent, and people will hopefully eventually be consistently watch you. And also be okay with failure.
Yeah.
Because be okay with slow days too. Like, you had a really awesome day, a really awesome week. Be okay with those numbers dropping.
Yep.
I almost treat those days as special days. Like if I know I'm going to have a low viewership day because I'm changing to a different game or something that I know isn't going to be popular, but I want to play it, and I know certain people want to. Like, we get a little stupider on those ones, right? Like
that's when Briar comes out.
That's when Briar eats himself. It gets crazy.
You can have a little bit of fun. You just know, like these are like your most hardcore fans, so like, you know what I mean. So like, these are the people who know you the best, so you can really kind of get crazy with them. I actually like days like that. Those are fun. Mr. Jeff says Saturday is National Puppy Day. Do you prefer puppies or kittens?
Kittens.
Why not both?
Well, yeah, why not both?
You have to choose.
No.
I'll choose kittens.
I'm not choosing.
I don't know. I think kittens taste better, but they're harder to catch, so I'm going to go with puppies.
Yikes. Wowza.
Tastes better, huh? Wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
I think we've said we're going to eat Briar too many times.
He's trying to change the narrative now.
He's losing his mind.
He's changing the narrative to different animals. Yeah.
All right. Takarito says, would you like to have Billy from Stranger Things be your own personal lifeguard?
I have not seen Stranger Things. I apologize.
Oh, what?
Wow.
It's so good.
TV, really?
It's Netflix.
Yeah.
She doesn't watch non-anime things. Like Game of Thrones is like basically
That's the only thing.
Oh, Watts. Check out one episode.
Watts, you would genuinely love Stranger Things.
I know. I'm pretty sure I would.
Also, I reject Takarito's argument. Steve is my personal lifeguard. In Flex, if you go to my Netflix profile, it is a picture of Steve. Steve from Stranger Things.
Look me up on Netflix.
All things manhood.
Honestly,
men want to be him. Women want to be with him. He's the best at everything.
I don't remember who Billy is, actually, even though I've seen.
I don't know either. He wasn't no Steve. I can tell you that.
I don't remember names. So I just.
All right.
Sam says, if you could give any gaming studio a movie franchise to make games of, what game and studio would it be?
Okay. Any game studio, a movie franchise to make games of. So we're getting like the equivalent of Batman games, right? Am I understanding that?
Or Star Wars.
You can take a movie franchise and make games, and who's making the game?
Oof.
I was going to go. Boy. My first instinct was, what's that Keanu Reeves Hitman movie?
John Wick.
John Wick. I was going to say John Wick, but they actually made a VR game of John Wick. So does that mean I can't choose that?
It's called Super Hot.
No, it's actually called John Wick.
John Wick. Super Hot.
This could be really. This could be a fun question. That's the thing. It's like, man,
it definitely could be. It takes more thought though. I tend to stay away from questions like this because they take so much thought.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd have to be. We need a good Star Wars game. Like I want.
Maybe Respawn's gonna make that good Star Wars game.
Yeah.
Maybe. So. I want like an MMO Star Wars, like modern right now, today's technology.
An MMO?
A third-person MMO abilities. If Bungie wasn't making Destiny, if they made Star Wars MMO, that'd be pretty awesome.
I want a Full Metal Alchemist video game
made by Platinum. I want that.
Made by Platinum.
Platinum?
Yeah.
I would play that. I would definitely play that.
I dig it.
Now let me go look up what games they made to make sure they haven't made like.
You can do both. You can be Edward or
switch between
or you could be
the
on the
dark
side and you could be like Lust or
yeah, like you wouldn't be one of you would be your own alchemist person.
Oh, that sounds fun too.
Yeah. Basically Dragon Age. Like think Dragon Age, but Full Metal Alchemist.
I would take Star Wars franchise and have BioWare make a video game.
You know, I was gonna say that, but with the recent Anthem.
Or BioWare, that's a risky business.
Yeah, I was like,
Can we go Ultra Insanity mode and say Star Wars made by Konami?
Whoa.
Yes.
Do they even make video games anymore?
Dude, you get the sickest fucking pachinko machine.
Right. Who do I want to make a Star Wars movie?
I almost think. Oh wait, you do vice versa as well.
I mean, no. Who do I want to make a Star Wars video game? I spoke.
See, what if Blizzard went all out on a Star Wars game?
Why does that have to be a Star Wars game?
Because we need a good Star Wars, man. We need a modern day good Star Wars game that is like a game as a service.
Do we really?
There hasn't been a good Star Wars game in a damn long time.
Do we really?
Yes, we do. Holtz. This is a hole in society right now that needs to be filled. All right.
Somebody's remaking the old Kyle Katarn one. What was that? Shadow of the Empire?
Mm-hmm.
No. What was the first
Rogue Squadron? Can we just get a modern Rogue Squadron?
How about a modern TIE Fighter?
Can they? How about both? Just both.
Okay.
It'll be like War Thunder. But
have you guys ever played the old Super Star Wars series, like for the Super Nintendo and Genesis?
Yes.
I love those games when I was a kid.
Same.
I recently played them. They're fucking hard.
Are they?
Like
video games when you were there's the old video games are hard.
Yeah, there's like, so many really cheap hits that you have to memorize when like certain things are going to come at the screen. Otherwise, there's no way you're avoiding them.
You know how video games got their replayability back in the day?
They were fucking hard.
Yeah, exactly. They were fucking hard. Now it's like replayability. Let's add more content. Let's add some fucking loot boxes for people to grind. Let's add like a fucking battle pass. No, make your game hard. There you go.
This whole game's got to fit on a 256 kilobyte cartridge.
Yeah, we can't update this shit.
We
didn't get the difficulty right. I don't know.
I remember loving the Empire Strikes Back game.
So hard.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah,
it was a really good one. Wait, the Atari one or the one on Super Nintendo?
Super Nintendo. I had the cartridge for that one. I remember getting it one Christmas and just loving it. Like throwing.
It was good.
You had the ability to throw the lightsaber, right?
Yeah.
I'm remembering this.
Yeah, those are good games. All three of them were good. But they're fucking hard. I think you could buy all of them off Sony's on Sony PlayStation 4 off their PlayStation 4 store or whatever it's called. The Boogie 9 says, who do you consider to be more brave, comma, someone who throat punches a bear, comma, or someone who poops at someone's house for the first time they visit them?
Well, I've done that plenty of times.
I'm going to say Briar for allowing us to eat him.
Brave Briar. He shall be remembered.
It's not consensual, Watts.
The People's Briar.
The People's Briar.
I'm going to go with throat punch the bear. Dale Peterson the bear.
Someone who poops at someone's house for the first time just has no tact. That's not fearless.
Yeah.
Maybe. What do you mean I have no tact?
Punches a bear. That takes balls.
Yeah,
man.
like if
real stupidity, probably.
If I got a friend coming over this first time and like they really got to go, am I going to be an ass to feel like,
no, man.
Hey, man, you can't use my toilet. That's rude.
No. Level 19 CPU says, we've heard your opinion on commas, but how do you feel about semicolons? They're for fucking assholes.
What is the proper
I
use
think they're
of a
pretentious,
by the way. I never understood the proper use of a semicolon.
Isn't it when you're breaking a thought apart that's like a little too segmented?
Ooh.
Isn't it?
You're just too good a shit ton when like transcribing whatever the fuck I
like a comma, it's going to be related. So you're adding things that are related to the subject. A semicolon, I believe, is like splitting the subject up into two parts. I think. I could be. This might be coming straight out of my ass. All right.
Straight out of the ass.
That's it. That's the questions. Guys, these are like 3-hour podcasts are becoming somewhat regular. We got to do something about this.
Yeah, man, David, you should really do something about this. Thanks.
Right?
We're here for you, man. But
have you finished the marathon yet, David? You should probably hurry it up.
I hope so.
Jesus, dude. Called a marathon.
It's been 3 hours, man. How long are you?
We call it a marathon, but at some point, dude, fucking sprint. Get it over with, man.
Call yourself an Uber or a Lyft or something.
Yeah, seriously.
We ain't got all day, Dave.
Take a load off, man. Eat some spaghetti or something, like, you know.
Pizza. There's probably a bus route nearby.
Order some pizza. Be good.
Pizza during a marathon. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Mm.
Hey,
might want to go with something more portable, like a pizza roll, or
you could just roll up the pizza.
How about a burrito?
Oh, a burrito pizza.
Burrito pizza, yes. How about a pizza inside a calzone wrapped in a burrito?
Is it a calzone just a pizza wrapped up?
No,
like
man,
a
it's a pizza inside a calzone. So it's a calzone, but also with a pizza inside of it, also wrapped in a burrito.
Fuck me. That's
I'm going to go with Andromeda's answer, Briar's barbecue leg on a stick.
Yeah, just stop off on the right side of the corner, barbecue Briar.
Barbecue
Get
Briar.
several orders, share, bring some for your friends. Don't be rude.
Dave, are you sure you've explored the entire video games podcast directory? Because I feel like there's other stuff here that you could have been listening to for the last 3 hours.
You know, it's
Beef
funny.
Or Brave Briar. Brave Barbecue Briar.
Brave Barbecue Briar sounds like a great restaurant.
David, I want you to try to like really focus right now, do not focus on how your nipples are probably chafing, because that really happens a lot when you're running a marathon.
Also, when your foot hits the ground, are you breathing in or blowing out?
Oh my God. Throw that rhythm off, man. Jesus. Hey, remember last time how we changed up the format to end? Because the format changed a little bit, and then we changed it again, and now it's different. How do we end it? I
don't know what's going on anymore, to be honest.
I'm Brian Rabbit. You can find me putting lights up on my wall and hanging TVs on walls and streaming occasionally even.
Awesome. I'm Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter and my streams, twitch.tv/TeftyTeft. I may or may not be playing Sekiro right away tonight. Maybe. I have to.
Are you going to watch some guides and you're going to be like, I know exactly how to do this boss. And then you're going to go in to make me look bad.
No.
You're like, oh, Watts took 20 death kills this guy. And then Teft comes in.
No, that is
That's
definitely.
What it is, guys.
No, you see,
so you can come see. I know what's happening.
I want to play tonight, but I also don't want to be tired when I play. You know what I mean?
Oh.
This is your normal stream time, though.
Are you still on the no coffee kick?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. It's complicated. All right. After a podcast, it's mentally draining after a podcast. You know, I got to have some food. A lot, yeah.
I mean, I go right to sleep after a podcast. I'm exhausted.
Sleep time, right?
It's because it's like it's because it's like 1 a.m. for you right now, Briar.
Oh, 12:14.
Okay, there you go. Yeah,
that's pretty late, actually. That's late. Briar's got to go to bed, guys.
Someone else fucking give your outro.
Brave Briar's bedtime.
Brave Briar barbecue.
Brave barbecue Briar's bedtime.
I'm Holtzman.
Basting barbecue Friar
at Holtzman_YT on Twitter, and I'm actually posting weapon reviews for like the next week until I'm done with posting weapon reviews.
Watts, did you say your sign off?
No. Is it me?
I think so.
Oh, I missed 5,000 watts. I'm going to be playing Sekiro till I'm done with it. So if you want to see me die 12 times, probably more.
You streamed it today, so I got to watch today's stream to make sure I'm caught up for tomorrow's stream, right?
You know what I was thinking of doing is I was going to actually edit together like a previously on Sekiro. Here's me dying 25 times.
Yes.
Getting thrown off the ledge by an ogre.
Damn.
Very fun.
I think that'd be a great way to start off streams, don't you? I've heard about it.
It'd be cool.
Yeah. It'd be easier if I had an editor.
Everything would be easier.
Doing it myself sounds hard.
It's true.
Or maybe you could edit all your clips together or something like that.
Yeah, just put the clips together. Just be like, here you go, guys. This is basically what happened. There was bad guys. I died. Here we are again. There's more bad guys. There's more dying.
There it is, right there.
Maybe
that's great.
Slip like a Seinfeld meme in there for random, just
here's Tobias.
Put Tobias on there.
You can find Tobias posted his butt online. I tell him not to, but keeps
right. Is that against terms of service, Tobias?
Maybe, actually.
Putting that anus right in our faces, man. Cats have no shame. Delicious, though, so they got that going for them.
Delicious, yeah.
Barbecue bread.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the show, right?
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. I'm going to go edit this shit together. Bye.
Good night, everybody. Bye. Hopefully I'm still recording.